But now that the hype train is back in the station and parked for a little bit, it's time for me to put a marker into the chat and press enter, then go here and press enter again. And load up the absolute realm of Longdeath. For those of you who are interested in following the Dwarf Fortress news stuff, I did put up a new video this morning. So if you missed it, there is a new video up. Forgot to remove this one when I added and built my... There's always... I just have all this like licensed music, and I make a different playlist every day. I should really just like pre-make the playlists so I don't get the tracks in that I don't like. Polly, you also have my lurk emote now that you could chuck into that list. I'm just saying. You have access to it. You might as well use it. Still can't click in my middle mouse button. That's weird. I like lurk emotes. Lurk emotes are great. Some of my favorite emotes that I have are lurks. Although I think my emote that I use the most is probably my lurk. They're all good. But anyway, now that we're in Dwarf Fort, would like to remind you guys that we do actually have some free names available. They are merchants, so keep that in mind, which means they are very expendable and probably will just get sent away at a point. Right now we're trying to rehabilitate a few very depressed dwarves, because I'm currently working on this project over here, which is this kind of weird pill-shaped thing that is going to become a tower that's going to build up. And I'm kind of thinking about making it an archway that kind of goes up and over and back down, either up here or like maybe over on the other side or something. I'm going to do some silly stuff with it. Choo-choo indeed, Gimper. But what are the statues made of? These ones are all made of lead. My lead statue garden is leaking up into this top side. If I'll have you once again, I'll have you once again. How many zaps is that now? Zapdos the third? I think that's 3. He feels restless, dwelling upon being able to rest and recoup. You and Burger can both have dwarves. Yep, this is okay. I think that I have a third one. But the blue ones are made out of what's it called? Ceramics. No, you didn't. What are you talking about? Unfortunately, we just we got them all named already. But we still have the possibility and likelihood that we'll end up with more new dwarves today. And the merchants are going to be kicked out and invited back in on a relatively speedy basis, so. The creative impulse is so valuable, says Zapdos. He has the appearance of somebody who is 156 years old, born on the first, and is born as one of the first of his kind. So something I need to remind everybody. Also, you are married to Lore, by the way, Zapdos. So something that I need to point out to anybody who just came in as a merchant. The merchants were all brought over from one of the local Helixes. And I think they sent all of their oldest dwarves because they're all above 100 years old, which means every spring any of them could just keel over and die, to the point where a bunch of them arrived on the after the first of spring, and one of them arrived dead. Like, it showed up and immediately died. So just keep that in mind. It is possible that you will just keel over immediately of old age. Which is why I'm saying it's quite likely we'll be getting a few more. The mountain home goes through these phases where we get no new migrants for like 15, 20 years, and then we'll get migrants again, then we'll get no migrants, then we'll get migrants again. We're currently in one of those no migrants phases, and we had some problems happen where a couple dwarves died of old age, some died of crimes, and some died of other reasons. And so now we were down to about 39 dwarves, so I was just kind of like, fuck it, let's just kind of like fill in the extra spots with merchants. So we've gone back up to 50 dwarves, so we have 11 merchants in the fort right now. He personally dislikes cooperation and prefers a noisy and bustling life to boring days without activity. He doesn't care about nature one way or another. Dreams of creating a great work of art. He is completely oblivious to the concept of neatness and will just leave his shit strewn everywhere without a care. He lives at high energy, kinetic pace, and always tense and jittery. After being caught in the rain in the year 27. He prefers to present himself modestly and likes to keep things practical without delving too deep into the abstract. He has a greedy streak and tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects. This music is perfect. He generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity and is slow to anger, and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence. He doesn't seek out excitement, and he is conflicted by this since he feels intellectually that life should be more tumultuous. Needs alcohol to get through the working day, because he's a goddamn dwarf. Shad, it's good to see you. Now, Burger. Burger says I'm good. You think it's funny that for a Today in DF that would follow one of these dwarves and he dies abruptly, and then another one who dies abruptly? I mean, I just hope at some point I have the energy to make Today in Dwarf Fortress videos again. I just haven't had the energy. It's that kind of creative energy has not been in my brain recently. We'll do it eventually, but kind of taking a hiatus from those again. I wonder if we'll ever have the possibility to call migrants from the mountain homes. That's literally what I did for this. Like, yes, you can do that. You need a messenger, and they show up all as merchants, but that's actually a bug. So they're not supposed to show up as merchants. They're supposed to show up just as dwarves. They have skills, like dwarves should, but it's bugged, so they just show up as the merchant tag. So hopefully one day that gets fixed. Previously, they couldn't even be assigned skills. They're also not technically permanent residents, so they can't be put in the military. But you can reach out. If you assign I can show you how to do it in a second, but I'll just finish reading the source description, then I'll show you. She personally sees working hard as foolish and a waste of time, respects perseverance, and considers craftstewardship to be relatively worthless, and dreams of mastering a skill. Her slightly close-set cobalt eyes have very large irises. She is 169 years old. Jesus fuck, you've got like a year and a half, man. She is prone to hatreds and develops negative feelings. She cracks easily under pressure and could be considered rude, is curious and eager to learn, and tends to share her experiences and thoughts with others, is calm, and when she's thinking hard, she has a habit of licking her lips, and she drums her fingers when she's thinking. All right, so well, hold on, just let me do a thing. All right, so if you want to invite dwarves from a local Helix, the way you do this is pretty simple. You hit L, lowercase l, and then the first thing you'll see here is you'll see all of your locations, so all of your guilds and taverns and library and stuff. But the first thing here is your fortress location, right? So if you hit right once on numpad or on the arrow keys and you select messenger, I already have one assigned here, but what you'd do is you'd press enter on that and then you'd select somebody and assign them as a messenger. It gives them a minor noble job. which isn't a major job, but it's a job like any other job. So then they'll get the messenger tag, and then what you do is you go to the world map by pressing C. You select the Helix. You need Helixes in order to do this. I don't actually think you can do it with just any dwarf. Let's select our mountain home. Yeah, so they need to be Helixes. You can't do this without Helixes. So you have to have had a fort that's around long enough to at least get a Helix, right? Then you press R to request workers, and then you just hit the down arrow and up arrow to select the workers you want. It'll tell you their skills. You press enter on them. Say, okay, I want this dwarf, this dwarf, this dwarf, this dwarf, this dwarf, this dwarf. And then when you're done, you press escape. Then you press enter on the mission, and then you select the dwarf messenger that you wish to bring with. So in this case, I would press enter on Gate Nerd, and then he would go do the mission. I don't actually want to do the mission in this case because I don't want to request these. So instead, I'm going to remove the mission by pressing escape, going back one screen, and then hitting X to remove the mission. And that is how you request workers. What would happen after that is the dwarf would go and leave for however long the journey is, which would probably be a couple of minutes, not even. And then it would say the dwarf and others have returned, and then the game is saving. But and then in the unit screen, you'll have a bunch of merchants. You'll have to assign jobs to them because they will show up with no jobs assigned. They have no auto labor whatsoever. So you'll have to go through and like assign all their jobs in Dwarf Therapist or in the job screen or whatever. And then you have migrant workers, temporary workers. Yeah, so that's how that's done. It's one of those mechanics that like a lot of people don't even know is in the game, but all of these dwarves, they'll have their skills. You can't actually add them to the military, but yeah, see, here's Zapdos, has nothing assigned, so I do need to give him jobs. So I'm going to give him all the hauling, other jobs, give him some weaving glass, making bone carving, stone crafting, some farming tasks like wood burning, and mining. Sure, there we go. And that's Zapdos, done. Also, full disclosure, that's going up on my YouTube as a tutorial. Which is why I kind of waited to do that, the whole comprehensive kind of description thing. Because I cut chunks out of my VODs and put them up onto YouTube as tutorials. People watch them, so it works. So I've got some dwarves that are pretty depressed, but I'm basically giving them free reign to go do whatever for a bit to hopefully make friends and get a little bit happier in their day. Got a few tracks I want to remove from here that I'm not super fond of. There. So yeah, today is just going to be sustaining and letting the dwarves kind of just enjoy their time. And then once they start to like sort their shit out a little bit, then we're going to start working on the tower again. Building all this stuff up. Actually, you know, I could probably just get these levels smoothed, because that's not a super difficult task. It's mostly just the hauling boulders around that's become tough on them. I did a real bad job on the playlist today. There we go. So I licensed a whole bunch of music to use on my stream a little while ago, and I'm still going through it all, finding music that I actually like that also fits Dwarf Fortress. It's been a bit of a journey, but we're working on it. Oh, I use wheelbarrows, but the thing is wheelbarrows only move as fast as dwarves can walk. And in this instance, the fort's real big. So if they have to walk real far, it's still a real far distance, regardless of if they have wheelbarrows or not. But I do use wheelbarrows. But most of these dwarves are so ripped because of all of the lead statues they've been placing over the years, that they can haul boulders almost as fast as wheelbarrows, so it doesn't actually matter all that much. Hey, Touch Shriek, how's things? Also, your dwarf feels pleasure near a fine door and is annoyed when caught in the rain. Nope, you have not died yet, but give it time. You'll get there. The humans have arrived to trade. You feel things, yes. But soon you will feel nothing, because you too will be dead. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like they're all super ripped. They're all shredded. You're typing that as I said that. You might want to refresh your stream. I think you're a little bit delayed. And the Royal Treasurer has arrived. Oh, also, our unicorn breeding program is going quite well. Look at all of these unicorns. They're beautiful. Beautiful horse-like creatures with spiral horns growing from their forehead. A Royal Treasurer, yeah, from the humans. This is what happens when you run protection rackets. Look, see? He's even carrying his musical instrument. He always brings it. Always. A pitchblade lular, which is a tiny handheld metal stringed instrument with a metal yoke and a stone body, and strings that are suspended from the yoke down to the body. The musician plucks the 6 strings with a ceramic plectrum. This is very important. By request, they smell like ass, but delicious. Why? They are delicious. Billy? It's a secret, said Satan. Sins find their sinners, he proclaimed. Birds fly, horses above, pits fall, 30 seconds until the Martian dinosaurs invade Mercury. 20 billion chickens mine for worms. Cheese for everyone. Smells like dog and capybara. Delicious teeth taken out by bats. There you go. On behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to your people. There is much to discuss. The world is the same as ever, and what requests do you have of our merchants? Please bring me all of the wood. How many years humans live in DF? Isn't it 75 before they can die? It's either 70 or 80 is the average, I think. Chat was horny yesterday, okay, Bastet? You were here for it. I mean, dwarves are 150 to 170, right? On behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me bid you farewell to you and your stout dwarves. All right, what am I gonna sell the humans? I mean, I don't know what's in the minds of most people when they're writing most things, but I'm also not gonna pretend to understand what my chat's on about most of the time either, so. So I don't know, your guess is about as good as mine. I might just at some point protest and like just refuse to read certain sentences depending on what you guys write. Although I haven't needed to yet, so. You try, yes, you do. So, and then some people are just like chaotic evil. And I guess that's kind of what makes it fun. You have to go to bed? Cheers, Rockcat. Thanks for hanging out. It's good to have you swing by. Humble Bundle starts something new by the Chronicle was purchased for 31 cat. Was that B-Lug? Because you clicked a thing. Thanks, B-Lug, if that was you. Chaotic evil? I mean, there's nothing evil about ass. If anything, I would say chaotic evil was the buffalo talk. Because buffalo is just mean. But like, chaotic evil, implying that ass is evil is like saying that sex is evil. And that's not true at all. If anything, like we're trying to get away from that Catholicism. Prudishness. What season is it? Early summer. I'm very curious to see how many dwarves immediately keel over and die. Unicorn full. We're getting quite a few of those. The unicorns are full of it. Ah! Yeah, I know. I deserve that one. Pilot, I deserve that one. One day, it'll happen. Although unicorns are not very dwarfy. I think, like, boars and bears are much more dwarf. Well, unicorns are kind of elfy or human-y. I think enormous corkscrews. Iron corkscrew, too. Ooh, you know, goats. Goats would probably make a pretty... Could you imagine just like an army of dwarves with their huge beards just like riding like alpacas and goats into battle? I'm super down. Peak dwarfiness? No, peak dwarfiness would be breeding rocks into things that they then build their fortress on. Like building a giant hot air balloon fortress and then making the rocks pull it. Like, what's it called? Basically making Airborne Kingdom. That would be peak dwarfiness. A giant portable fortress that is flown and pulled by rocks. Perform dance. The fuchsia velvet. That is like the most popular form of dance from our faction that my dwarves perform. I see them performing it all the damn time. The fuchsia velvet. B-Lug's going ham. He also bought the game dev map and whatever that word was. I can't read that, but I'm assuming that was B-Lug. It was small, but I did my best. By the way, for those of you who don't know, there's a free game on Humble right now. It's a bomber crew, so you can go get bomber crew for free if you want over on Humble. It's right there. So just go grab yourself a Steam key for bomber crew. This is very good tavern music. It's like JRPG tavern music. Although I don't know who the heck named this, because this track is called Angry Bull. This does not sound like an angry bull. Lord Floof, how we doing? Lonely after being unable to make merry. Go to the damn tavern, then. Okay, you know what? Rather than you pondering the wedge, I'm going to remove you as a scholar and let you just go be a dwarf if you want. You know, I'm actually going to rebuild my playlist because it's got a bunch of stuff in here that I'm not fond of. I like the more ambient stuff. More ambient and epic stuff. Hold on, I'm going to skip that one. Did you guys know that VLC Media Player can play JPEGs? I learned that the other day. I accidentally added a JPEG to my playlist yesterday while I was streaming, and then randomly my VLC in the bottom corner, like down there, because it's like, that's where my VLC is. It just like went full screen with a JPEG. It was kind of startling. Also, I are stupid. Yeah, I didn't actually say hello to you. How are you doing today? What does a JPEG sound like? It makes no sound. It just turns into a full screen image. I didn't know that it could load that. Like, it can just load anything, I guess. Feels pleasure remembering a fine gem window. Wow. Dwarf is remembering seeing a window. What's your favorite song? Hamburger.jpg. I would like to buy a hamburger. Smash T feels fondness when talking with a friend. Yay, you were one of the dwarves that was sad after being away from family and friends for too long. So hopefully you start to feel a little better. Comfy gem window, yeah. I only just realized that you typed in hamburgers instead of hamburgers. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Damn, that video's already got 1,000 views on it. That's kind of crazy. Also, shoutouts to KitFox for being awesome and working with YouTubers to the point where I get the screenshots at the same time the email lists go out, but it's only about 5 minutes before everybody else gets them that I actually see them. Because the email list takes a little while to actually send out all the emails. So it really means a lot that they do that because it's kind of a win-win thing. Helps me out and helps them do better because I'm literally just free marketing for their stuff. Called Borsor? I wonder if they're fans of Flying Wild Hog. Because Flying Wild Hog is a game development studio. Which is an amalgamation of People Can Fly and Wild Hog Studios. They make the, oh, what are they called? You feel so good? Well, you're still feeling self-pity. This is a dwarf that I can't really do too much about with the self-pity thing because they have no family because they were born before time existed. Oh, do you have the old, the year 100 save installed? Speaking of. got some news recently. Yeah, nothing too news going on. The Fragrant Bear seem interesting. What's really interesting is my dwarves have gotten so integrated with the Fragrant Bear that I've seen my dwarves doing Fragrant Bear related dances when there's no when there's no elves in the fortress. It's like right now they're doing the Fuchsia Velvet, which is a dwarven song and dance, and the humans are doing dwarven songs and dances. But I've seen them independently perform and sing elven songs without actually being in the elven fort. Oh, also, for those of you who missed it, we have the coolest fucking artifact grate. So we have this unicorn bone floor grate. It's worth 78,000. But check this out. It's a unicorn bone grate. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with point-cut purple spindles and decorated with maple and yak leather. On the item is an image of dwarves in unicorn bone. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of Longdeath by the eternal adventure of time, of the ignited creation in the early spring of year 5. On the item is an image of Jackneric II. Jackneric II is dead. The artwork relates to the putting to rest of Jackneric II in Longdeath in the mid-autumn of 31. On the item is an image of the pleated gibbons in silver. On the item is an image of a lizard in rose gold. I really like it just because it's a unicorn bone. Wonder how they butcher each other's languages. I wonder how much their accents vary. That would actually be really cool if there was descriptions of accents. Do you think that they have different accents depending on the region that they're from? Because like we already know that their like facial structure and skin tones and hair color change based on region. Now I'm real curious about that actually. I wonder. And now your queen and mayor are married, so do you have a king in there, or is the king just elsewhere? I mean, you know, when king and a mayor love each other very much, although, is that better or worse? Like, the queen just getting married to your mayor. Is that better or worse than my mayor putting Sui's husband to death and then marrying her? So my mayor, he killed Sui's husband and then married Sui immediately afterwards. How would one describe dialect? The style of speech often includes extended vowels. I don't know. How would you describe a dialect? The local dialect includes heavy slang and extended vowels, or short vowels and low amounts of slang, or perhaps somebody from a specific area could sound almost more like you know. I don't know. I'm glancing at YouTube comments right now, right? These are the YouTube comments in my most recent video. I like this. The 2 YouTubers that got me into Dwarf Fortress. That must be my lucky day. I love how, like, almost starstruck people get in YouTube comments when they see a YouTuber that they like. In the comments, they're like, "Oh my god!" It's kind of funny. Like when people comment on my comments that I leave on Krug Smash's videos, which are like, "Fancy seeing you here." I'm like, well, why are you so surprised? Instead of how certain words are pronounced value. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, if we can get a description of how poetry works, why can't we get a description of how... Or maybe they could say, like, the local dialect often pronounces the letter A as an O, or something like that. I don't know. That's definitely not something I am even remotely knowledgeable about, so I wouldn't know how one would do that. Yeah, I'd be curious as to what a description of a dialect would be. I mean, it would probably end up just being a nonsensical mess. Huh. So no A in words like both bath and grass, so words like maths. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Also, I'm curious about how we're doing on bars. On lead specifically. 86 charcoal. 406 lead. Okay. Let's just do 100 lead statues. Existing image. I'll read that in a second. Dwarf and his spear. There we go. That's our statue image. That's a very interesting point. The NG coalescence. So the singer rhymes with finger, both commonly pronounced. Indeed, it can be analyzed as lacking some. Instead of being regarded as. This sounds like something that if we put the idea into Tarn's brain, he'll get very into it and then delay a release by 4 months to add it in as a feature, so we probably shouldn't tell Tarn about this. That, or he's already thought about it, knows a lot about it, and is planning it. Also, this child is currently running around with 9 plum wine in a silver goblet. Simplex, you're a child with fine tastes. You're running around with plum wine and a silver goblet. Also, I want this screen to say more stuff. This is an organizational activity that will branch into specific social events. How is your child doing? I think still mad, but nope, no longer mad. Bravery is not a strength of mine, you say. She felt enjoyment after playing make-believe. Was annoyed after being caught in the rain. Embarrassed dwelling upon the lack of dining tables. I see that one sometimes, and I've got fuck tons of tables, so I don't know how that happens. Thirsty child, I would say. I mean, red has 9 units of strawberry wine in a silver goblet. I only just learned that you can, like, select what they're hauling, and it'll tell you. Yep, because you made a bone crown, I think, right? Yeah, Reza went a little ham, McSally. Enjoy a Crypt Blank. Just a little bit ham. You can just be blank about it. I think that's my most popular non-beer emote, is Crypt Blank. It's the one that gets most of the use. That Tarn hasn't thought... You can't imagine that Tarn hasn't thought about it and planned it in a whole system to the point where the two diverging dialects aren't mutually intelligible anymore, but has postponed it. Yeah, he's probably planned it, programmed it, and it's probably already in the game somewhere. It's just disabled, commented out, and will be re-enabled at some point when it doesn't break something else too badly. They need minerals in a workout? Well... I'm specifically only making statues out of lead, so I don't have this problem of, you know, children just like pumping iron all the time, pumping lead all the time, up and down in weights. You know, I think D emotes are some of my favorite. Like lurk emotes and Ds, just, they're always great. They're always great. Comfy emotes are also pretty good. Why not have strong children? Because we don't have enemies. Like, literally, the only enemy we have is the eternally immortal, berserk, chained up vampire that lives in this sealed off room by itself, okay? Actually, I wonder. There's cobalt eyes that have very large irises. I'm actually very curious as to how they're going to distinguish night creature dwarves from normal dwarves. Because right now it's like, well, they're a different color and a different sprite. I'm really curious to know what that's going to look like. Like, what's a vampire dwarf look like next to a normal dwarf? I think if it's possible for people to speak, they speak like that. Someone somewhere speaks like that. All stereotypes and references like that are based in reality somewhere. Mad Max the Merchant cancels make charcoal, reason too depressed. Well, fuck. You know, Mad Max, you were a pretty good dwarf. And you know, you're not a bad dwarf, but I'm gonna have to send you back to Veiled Clasp. Because I don't need you doing whatever you're doing here. So, when you're done being depressed, you can leave. Head back home. More or less self-sufficient. I mean, occasionally I need to queue up more beer, but it's more or less self-sufficient. I probably could fully automate this fortress and just let it run. More or less permanently, with the exception of trading. I would have to show up to trade. And I could just let it run, and it would be probably fine. No, I could. You can automate it without DF hack. Just go to this screen and go to conditions and give the work order rules. You don't need DF hack to make the game fully automated. Like, you can literally just... I mean, I could also just, like, go into settings and turn on auto labor, and the game more or less can play itself. But no, I'm just here managing things. Although actually, if crimes were committed, I would still have to do those, and I would also still have to do the mandates as they pop up. So if it wasn't for mandates, yes, I could literally, like, just let this fort run by itself. But that's part of why this fort is interesting, though, isn't that it's, you know, the most engaging gameplay-wise. It's kind of like a little character drama. Like, watching the little different dwarves. Like, I've gotten to know some of these dwarves so well, I can figure out who it is just by the way they move. This dwarf wants to practice martial art. Are you in one of the squads? No, you're not. You can join the bear fighters. Let's get the bear fighter squads fighting. My wrestling squads, my hobby wrestlers. Mine does whatever it wants for the first 10 minutes I talk, and then after that it generally behaves. Stone. It's a character study. I mean, it's also like I'm stress testing the game in a way. I had several people telling me that the game would just crash nonstop beyond like year 60, and I don't believe that. Has this fort crashed? I want to say it's crashed like once. Do they have a wrestling ring? They just wrestle in the barracks. I could make them a wrestling ring. I don't know how I would do that or where I would put it, but in theory, we could have like wrestler tournaments. Again, I don't know how I would do that. We're at year 130, so the fortress is 125 years old. I generally do about 3 years per stream. 3 to 4 years. So, actually, question, chat room. If I'm the unofficial news source for Dwarf Fortress, then what's Krug Smash? Is he like the unofficial face of Dwarf Fortress and I'm just the unofficial like news channel? Soap opera producer. He doesn't produce soap operas though. If anything, this is a soap opera. Soap opera would imply that it never ends. So he's just the unofficial Netflix of Dwarf Fortress. He's used for advertisements. Fair. Although, if anything, I think my news videos are more advertisey. But no, Longdeath is closer to a soap opera. Because it's me just like milking one fort for all that it's worth, which is literally what a soap opera is. It's like, hey, we have this basic storyline outline. Okay, let's keep it going for 75,000 years. For both ambassadors? I mean, I'd much rather be a Bay 12 Games ambassador than a EA game changer. It needs a lot more sex. Oh, there's a lot of sex happening. Trust me. They don't remain 21 for 10 years. Yeah. I mean, where do you think all these babies came from? It's not really a short tutorial. Building it, it's literally all I'm doing is I just have water pumping out this way, coming from this windmill, power coming from this windmill, going through this pump, which pumps it over to this, down this little thing, which comes around here, which then falls down to here, through this, then all the way down here, and then out off the map through this drain. That's not really an easy short tutorial to do. I feel like I'd have to do every single one of those parts separately, like how to build a pump, how to build power, how to... But I've already got one for... Yeah, I don't know. It's basically an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I mean, we'd need people to be constantly getting injured in order for that to be a thing. But here's the question, chat. Are you guys okay with watching a Dwarf Fortress soap opera? Yeah, it's a little bit beyond the 2-minute tutorial thing. I mean, I could definitely do it in like a 5-minute tutorial, but I might do that. I would do that off stream. Light aquifers can. But I feel like I've never actually managed to make that work. Mr. Touch Shriek. Also, it's paperwork time, by the way. Stone, just a heads up. Because it is fall. The annual tributes from Basti Pime and Nulanabo have arrived. I mean, you are right now.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
That's what I was getting at, is you are watching a Dwarf Fortress soap opera right now. I'm just gonna go put on my hoodie. I will be back in a sec. All right, so I'm just going to assume that Stone isn't here, and I'm going to screenshot this stuff for him. Oh, looks like they got the Steam posts out. Oh, you are here. You didn't say anything, so I wasn't sure. The idea of pig cheese scares you? Pig's milk is too thin to make cheese in real life. I know that that's like a weird sentence to say, but pig's milk is too thin. So I get my Dwarf Fortress video up at 8:30, and the official post goes out on Steam at 11:30. I'm not saying Kit Fox should hire me as a video editor, but like, what if they just hired me as a video editor? Can't he just build another soap fort again? Just a tavern and a theater made from soap blocks? I mean, I would think about doing that. For $2,300 a kilogram? Yeah, not worth it. I'll stick to like regular cheese or vegan cheese over that. I mean, to be fair, I did apply for a job there and was told respectfully no, they wanted someone with more experience, which is fair. Apparently, I'm now in the boost this stream beta, whatever the fuck that means. Cool. I'll link the Vimeo video if anybody wants to see it. I am not entirely sure how it works, but apparently that's a thing that I'm in now. Someone is who grew up. Oh, Morden is now a child. Yeah, it went from being an infant to being a child. So it can now walk and think for itself. Instead of just attempt to commit suicide. It'll actually feed itself now. Apparently. Yeah. I don't... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. My problem is like... I don't know, chat. What do you guys think of that whole thing? Because I have opinions that are generally not popular on things, but like... I'm curious to know what you guys think of that thing. Yeah, I know. I literally just got the email. And you'll see how much you can spend on it. I don't know. I don't like shit that just, like, takes over the stream like that. Although, I would probably hardly even acknowledge it if it happened. I don't even know how this shit works. The link I put in chat doesn't. Actually, I don't know if I have to. I think it just happens naturally. I don't think I do anything for it. Yeah, I don't create a community challenge. I think that it just happens. Do I have the option to turn this off? Yeah, I think I'm just in the beta. Can someone whisper it? I can just relink it. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. I'm a Twitch partner, so by default, it's always on and I can't turn it off, whether I like it or not. Aqua. Okay, then ignore everything I'm talking about. Doesn't. To be totally fair, I kind of hate the channel points shit. I kind of hate it. Because some people are just around to watch the stream ghost. I hate things that detract from the stream, and I think that a lot of the stuff Twitch has added recently just kind of adds visual noise to the page and makes it more confusing for new users, and I don't think that's a positive. What was I going to check? That's the one I was going to check. I can't export bucklers. Okay. Should be okay. Yeah, it's just crafts. Bum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Yeah, I have no idea. I knew that it was a feature they were added. It literally just, all it does is it notifies advertisers that you're aware. Yeah. And then it puts me into the promoted section. I I don't mind features as long as I can turn them off. How does small channels would compete with larger? I don't know. In that instance, I don't know. Good question. Silver carving fork. Was adapted to the size of the channel? Yeah. If they do it correctly. As Steph, I am your liaison from the mountain homes. It is good to see you once again. There is much to share. We've updated your maps. What requests do you have of our merchants? I thought it was like to make the streamer go to bed. No. You mean go away? I don't believe I've ever had to make the streamer go to bed goal. I look forward to our meeting next year. Our fortunes, of course, rise and fall together. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see my chance. Like, oh, also Ponce, thanks so much. I was like, why did my view count go up? Ponce, thanks for the host. If you guys don't know Ponce, and you like watching a man play a game that he hates, you should go watch Ponce. I'm assuming he was playing League. Yes, he was. How's the PBE stuff? Still the same PBE bleh, public beta thing. New character stuff again? Gotcha. Still the same crap, different thing. You know, you and me, we're kind of ending up in the same realm. Like the same job. You're the League of Legends PBE news guy, and you have to do that. I'm the Dwarf Fortress news guy. We've ended up with very similar shticks. Except I don't hate the game. Hopefully never will. You've been coming here for decades, yeah. Literally decades. Smash T still feels self-pity for a lot of reasons. How about I give you blacksmith? I just give you all of the metal crafting tasks. So we're still working on them lead statues. So maybe you'll go make some lead statues. There you go. After you get a drink. Yeah, I haven't really been sleeping recently either. Go get some sleep when you do. But yeah, in regards to the channel points thing and the channel boosting thing, I don't like stuff that detracts from the stream, you know? It's the reason I try and keep goals and stuff to a minimum. It's the reason if I hit certain numbers on my Patreon, I'll just turn off leaderboards. It's because I think that a lot of the stuff that Twitch has added in the past 2 years doesn't really add beneficial stuff to Twitch. It just makes the streams more about money. I would like I like making a living doing this, and I think that that's cool. Money is great and all, and I like making money. But at the same time, I think that streams should be about entertainment. It should be about community, I guess. It should be about, you know, enjoying spending time talking about games with friends, primarily, first and foremost. And everything being gamified, in my opinion, kind of detracts from it a bit. Like, you know, I have to play into hype trains if I want to pay my bills. And I don't like that. Like, at some point, I hope to be able to, you know, if a hype train happens, cool, and I can comment on it, but I don't want to ever have to, like, dare chat to beat a level. I just don't want to have to do that. Which is why I do the pushing of the Patreon stuff so much, because it's just like, let's just get this train funded so I don't need to, you know, worry about extra stuff. We can just be here and I can just run my show, and that's why I hope the YouTube continues to do well, because if the YouTube continues to do well and it continues to grow, that thing can have passive income that can help towards that overall funding goal that I need to hit. I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky. And then, of course, there's people who watch streams who just don't want to hear anything about money ever. And, you know, that's also totally fair. I get that. I actually, back in the day, used to watch a channel a whole lot who got very money pushy to a point where they were just like, if 10 minutes went by without bits popping into the chat or something, they would just start commenting on it. Like, you know, it's been like 10 minutes since somebody cheered. And it got to the point where it was just like, well, I have a hard time watching this now because it's just bloody unpleasant. And I guess I don't ever want to be like that. I don't ever want my stream to turn into that. Dwarf's being unable to take it easy. Okay. What tasks do you have? Let's take you off of hauling if you're unable to take it easy. But at the same time, I'm also like not a big broadcast, so I kind of have to do that. DM me if you want on Discord with a name. I don't want to call people out for that sort of stuff. But I've seen that sort of stuff happen a number of times over the years. That was just one particularly memorable example for me because it was somebody who I watched every day and don't watch it all anymore. You know what would be kind of fun is if I made like a big old pillar, like a big solid constructed pillar instead of just a not mined out thing. Like, there's some things I'm totally fine with calling people out on, and then there's some things I'm just not. Thank you much for the Prime sub for a 28th month. Lump.
Thanks for many, many months of good streams and a wholesome chat crypt comfy.
Very wholesome until it's not. Thanks, Lump. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for continuing to watch the streams and support me. Via all of the places that you do. Patreon and Twitch. Yeah, I guess kind of as far as the stream boost thing goes, I probably just won't mention it at all. Because I don't really feel like my stream needs that. I mean, I guess if you guys boost it, then cool, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get that sort of stuff. Especially as someone who's been on front page. I don't know. I think that the boosting thing sounds like something that should be directed at channels that have like 5 concurrents based on watching that video without sound. It seems like something that should be given to really small channels that have like, that are struggling to like get noticed. I don't know if I necessarily need that. Like, it feels a little weird. Like, I've been on the front page of Twitch 6 or 7 times now. Like, the actual front page. And it doesn't do much. Which might sound weird, but it really doesn't. Like, you get followers from it, sure, but... You know, I got that big raid from Kiri and the host from Ponce, and that's more help than being on front page, in my opinion. So, I don't for whatever that's worth. That is significantly more help than being on front page, in my opinion. Well, I mean, it's mostly also because of the games I play, right, Aqua? It's like, people who are on the front page of Twitch aren't really looking for Dwarf Fort. Granted, I did have somebody new come in the other day, from just the recommended section, but that's different than the promoted section. And I don't actually think that Discovery is as bad on Twitch as some people claim it is. Some people will tell you that Discovery is like absolutely horrible on Twitch. And you'll never get noticed on Twitch organically, which I don't actually think is totally true. Yeah, it's trash in the Fortnite directory, but like the rest of Twitch, it's not that hard to slowly build up a small, respectable audience. It's really not. You just have to be consistent about it and do a little bit of networking. Front news is... okay, as somebody who's streamed Dwarf Fortress on the front page twice, I mean, it was cool. It was fun to have 2,000 viewers, and we certainly had some confused and curious individuals popping in, but... And that was pretty close to the Steam announcement. I don't think any of the people who came in for that stream are still here. Like, sure, I got like 50 followers, I think, but like... What's helpful with front page is if you're on front page every day. If you're on front page every day, then it's good. And you'll be huge. But just like once for 2 hours, or in this case, like in a promoted section, no one's going to fucking click on that. People might click on it initially, but... You're here because I was recommended. You mostly watch colony builders and engineering games. Fair. But, like, that's algorithmically served to you, not promoted because the community was like, boom, on front page. And I kind of don't... I like the recommended section. I think the recommended section on the front page works pretty well for, like, that example right there. Very inky. I don't know how much I like the channel points promotion stuff. Like the boost this stream thing that... I don't know if I like it. Just conceptually. It's like, let's not fuck up the algorithm by making people look at it less because it's just the person who's hyping up the... Chuck your channel points at this shit, you know? I look at it sometimes. Does Twitch give a list of suggestions for raids based on similar content or low viewers? No. No, not at all. Twitch does tell you what channels you share viewers with, but it's generally just like my team plus one other person. And to be frank, I wouldn't like it if Twitch was telling me to go raid people. And I would probably just ignore it. No, that's up to the user to go and network with other people in the Twitch community, if you want that. If you want to get rated by people, you got to go network. Got to go make friends. And I think that's the way it should be. The more algorithmic Twitch becomes, I think the more you're going to slowly kill Twitch. And that's the way it's going to go over the time. And the reason I say that is because what makes Twitch special and what's made Twitch special in the past is the community and the kind of culture that it builds up. But, you know, everybody hates YouTube because of the algorithms, right? Everybody hates the way that shit works, and everybody rants about how it's broken and it's weighted in certain directions and certain things do well and other things don't. The more Twitch goes in that direction, the harder it's going to be for me to continue to like Twitch. I'll keep streaming because I love streaming, but the platform itself, in my opinion, will kill itself if it keeps doing that. But that's what makes money, because they want to algorithmically push people towards channels that will make them more money, right? Take it from somebody who has to play the YouTube algorithm for things, and trust me, it's not ideal. I wouldn't want to have to play the algorithm for Twitch as well. One algorithm to play is enough. IMO. And that's what I fear with the recommended stuff, is it's you know, I really like kind of having a chill, relaxed atmosphere to my channel, right? Channels that are super hype and loud, and it's what Twitch likes. They like channels that shout about the hype trains and yell about points goals. Like, I guarantee you, if and when that channel points goal thing pops up, that's 100% up to you guys to deal with. I'm not really going to mention it. Because and I think Dizen, who has mentioned this earlier in chat, doesn't care about those systems at all. Doesn't care about subs or channel points or anything. That's fair. A portion of my audience will never care. I don't want to annoy those people to push some arbitrary number up. That not at all was what was intended. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's probably how anybody working at Twitter feels every day. Why is this trending? So I really just... I worry about Twitch, especially now that Mixer's gone. You know, when we had Mixer around, we had, like, Twitch had reason to improve and keep Twitch what Twitch is, but now that Mixer's gone, it's like, well, there goes the competition. So if you could even call them competition, YouTube isn't really competition because YouTube is super different. Like, you know, it's impossible to just go find YouTube streams because it's so algorithmic. It's so algorithm focused. Like, if I were to tell you, go find me a stream on YouTube of a specific game, I wouldn't know how to do that. Like, genuinely, I would not know how to do that. I would go to YouTube and I'd be like, YouTube gaming. Yeah, it's fucking wild, audio. Reminds you of Intel before Ryzen got good. Intel after Ryzen got good. Intel's just been shit in the bed since Ryzen got good. Oh, they were. Oh, they were. I mean, like, on a Mixer at peak was sitting at, like, hundreds of viewers on their top channel, unless, like, Shrouder Ninja was on, and then Shrouder Ninja would have thousands. There was a few odd YouTubers that would stream that would have thousands. But in general, like, that shit was rough for them. They were shitting money out. Like, they weren't just losing money. They were losing all of the money. So it makes perfect sense why they shut it down. Also, there's the part where they pumped, like, what was it, $30 million into Ninja to stream there for 6 years. It was supposed to be $30 million over 6 years. 10 million up front or something. Multi-million signing bonus. And, like, he goes over there and pulls a few thousand viewers. To be clear, at the point when he went over there and was pulling, like, 10,000 viewers, yeah, 10,000 viewers is a lot of people. At the time, he was pulling 150+ thousand on Twitch every stream. So they were banking he would bring that number of people over, and he didn't. They did the same for Shroud, and he also didn't. So they both went there for, like, a year-long vacation, and now they're both back on Twitch. This is an exceptional rose gold statue of Board Guy. On the item is an exceptionally designed image of Board Guy, Work Clans, the Dwarf, in mudstone. Designed by Hobo. Board Guy is raising the mudstone earring. The artwork relates to the masterful mudstone earring created by Board Guy, Worked Clans, for the eternal adventure of time in Longdeath in the mid-spring of the year 23. Unfortunately, Board Guy died in the fortress recently after committing another crime. He murdered like 3 dwarves. It was very unfortunate that that dwarf had to finally die. Person was one of your friends? No offense, but that's probably about how many viewers you would get on Twitch. Unless you streamed more than a few times. No, I mean, I'm not going to blame him for it. It's a perfectly valid move. I didn't blame him for it at the time. It was just weird at the time. Audio. It's perfectly understandable why they would do it. And winter is upon us? I'm very curious about how many dwarves are going to die on the 1st of spring. I feel like it's going to be a lot. How's my dwarves training doing? Yeah, we'll just let them train for a little bit. All right, we're going to go around the edge of this and start working on this guy. So we're building this upwards, and I want it to have stone walls and stone floors and go into a tower that goes up and then archways over. Does winter matter at all if you're underground? If stuff is covered, it will not freeze and water will not melt, but it has to be covered. If it's exposed to the sky, it will freeze and plants will die. But if you're underground, no, not really. Although I would argue that seasons almost don't matter anyways because dwarves don't care about temperature. And there are plants that can grow in the winter anyway. That's not what they were doing. They were using his streams channel to promote other Fortnite streams. And at one, or whatever the top Fortnite directory was on Twitch. Stupid. So, whatever the top stream was in the Fortnite directory. And at the time, there was a problem on Twitch, and this problem is always going to be on Twitch. It's been happening ever since Twitch was born. It happens on every popular streaming service where people will stream something they shouldn't be streaming to get a bunch of clicks. And someone was streaming porn in the Fortnite directory. And yeah, for about 10 minutes, Ninja's channel was streaming porn. But frankly, I think what they were doing with Ninja's channel was a hell of a lot better than just leaving it blank. And then what happens is people yell about it on Twitter and it eventually becomes false information. And then false information gets spread. I mean, if you have a channel with that amount of clout, you might as well do something with it. And if you sign contracts like Twitch partner contracts to private companies and then break that contract and go to a different company, yeah, they have the right to do whatever the heck they want with your channel. It's not yours at that point. Ninja had the right to be mad in that instance, but also at the same time, it's like, I mean, what else are you going to do? Everybody's like, oh, Twitch should moderate better. It's like, yeah, they got rid of it. But like, also, if you think you can do a better job moderating Twitch, I dare you to do that because good luck moderating the number of people that stream on Twitch every day. It's like, it's not that it's not possible to moderate streams and Twitch, but Twitch does a pretty decent job. Not the most popular opinion. I think there's some channels that shouldn't be allowed to stream on Twitch, but in general, Twitch is pretty okay about getting that shit done. Lots of people will disagree with me on that, but in general, Twitch does a pretty okay job. But when they fuck up, I'll call them out. Besides, even though Ninja is a fraction of what he once was popularity-wise on this site because of his time away from it, dude's still making millions a year, so it's not like he's hurting. But, you know, it's because of big channels like his that I can be over here and make a living. Because, you know, people come to Twitch for Fortnite. And then after a few years of watching Fortnite, they think, maybe I'll watch something else. Or what else is on Twitch? I wonder. And then they go search for a random game that they heard of once, and then they end up on my channel. Or they watch a game like The Sims, and then they watch a game like RimWorld, and then they get it recommended in their recommended section. So if anything, like, even if I dislike the way a lot of big channels run their channels, just like I dislike the way a lot of big record labels run their licensing agreements, my channel is able to exist partially due to the fact that those big channels exist. So, And that's kind of cool. Also, either you guys are really bored of this subject or my chat is dead. Can we get a round of beers? I'm just making sure that people can actually hear me. Yes, okay. It's just around this time that chat has died a couple of times. So you guys are just really bored of the subject. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about, chat room? I searched for Dwarf Fortress. I mean, you'd be amazed how many people have searched for Dwarf Fortress and naturally found me. That's a... Wait. Do I not have formal cheers set up to put beers? Hold on. Let's try that emote again in a second there. Zune. I was unaware that Formal Blizzard had a cheers emote. Try that again. Should make beer appear. Scrambled eggs. Ooh. I had oatmeal with blueberries for breakfast. It was tasty. With a boiled egg. For lunch, I'm having a cheese and avocado sandwich. With salt and pepper. Exactly the same as yesterday. Really? Can I ask you a question? What makes my stream interesting with DF? From the interviews I did with Tarn? Aqua? On a lab report for electric motors and drive class. And drives class? Drives class. Electric motors and drives class. Sounds fancy. Jeff says my voice. My voice make dwarves interesting. It's kind of funny, actually. I was going back in my VODs last night and privating or deleting a lot of old stuff just to, like, you know, avoid possible copyright strikes, because I used to play a lot of music that is probably fine, but, like, I kind of don't want to risk it. I was listening to my, like, microphone quality from, like, 5 years ago, and I was like, Jesus, why did anybody watch my streams 5 years ago? I don't understand. Yep, he does that. He does indeed post the links on the site. I think the next time I have Tarn on, because I've had him on the streams twice, I'm going to try and do it again sometime in spring. I think like probably about 3 a year is what I'm going to aim to do, at least until the Steam version is out. Maybe then take a break for a while. Wolverine is fucking with my animals again. Whenever we have him back on again, I'll probably premiere it on YouTube. I think that would make for a good YouTube premiere. Like a premiere of a live stream that I already did, which is a little redundant, but I think it would be kind of fun being able to sit in the chat and like talk to people while it streams for the first time. Really? You found me through Jupiter Hell? That is like the most niche possible game to find me through. Like, lots of people have heard of Dwarf Fortress. You have to be like in a community within a community to know about Jupiter Hell. Stuff like precise control of electric motors and how to control their software in MATLAB. Huh. Interesting. Sounds like stuff Audio might have done. You miss Aliens RL? For whatever it's worth, if Jupiter Hell does well enough, once it's released, so once the 1.0 version comes out, if it sells well enough and they have budget, the next game, Epion wants to make is a proper full successor to Aliens RL. So like Jupiter Hell, but Aliens RL. Because he has this engine now that he's been working on for 7 years that is a roguelike engine that looks good, that plays well, that loads fast, that runs well. So he can just use that, and he's going to use that engine to make an Aliens RL successor, and then if that does well, he wants to use the engine again to make a fantasy-themed roguelike. You don't get your work done, so shush and get your work done. You're all about odd roguelikes. I mean, Epion sent me a link to a roguelike the other day, like last night while I was streaming, which is a sequel to a game that I didn't know existed. That's been in development since 1995. I need to try that. And apparently is now on itch for free. So I need to try that. The way I interact with the community itself, and the way you treat the game and the things in it with a lot of reverence. So it's like kind of a combination of my respect for the game, but like that doesn't necessarily make the game entertaining. So what you're saying is somebody who tries really hard to treat the game with respect instead of just min-maxing it makes it entertaining? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, basically. And I'm familiar with the original game. I didn't know that there was a sequel. Huh, that's interesting. What am I working on? I'm building a tower that starts down here and goes up and out and up to here. And then I'm going to arch it up and over and have like a lookout looking down into the fort. Why? No practical purpose. But then again, that's most things in this fort. There's no practical purpose. Because I need to build things. I might put my library up there. Physical therapy. Gotcha. Do what you gotta do, Redbeard. Also, I've been like feeling or thinking about maybe streaming some Aliens RL. Might do that. I think the big advantage I have against most people who stream Dwarf Fortress is I've been streaming for a really long time. A lot of people who stream Dwarf Fortress are very new to Twitch. And it's kind of the only thing they stream. And this isn't a knock against other streamers, but it takes a while to get good at streaming. Like, I streamed for a good couple of years before I would say that I got any good at it. It took me a good few years to get decent at DF. And because of that, because that's just kind of the way of things, it really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? When you have like a game that is not commonly streamed by already built up streamers, you end up with just a lot of people who are just kind of streaming for one or two friends or something. A lot of 1 and 2 viewer streams are just like a person who just like is capturing their desktop because a friend of them wants them to stream it. That's often what ends up happening in those instances. So you get streams that are not particularly entertaining, but because they're not really trying to be entertaining or trying to run a show, they're just there, you know? That's what sets a good streamer apart, highlighting the stories. I mean, there's some streamers that stream DF that I would almost say unintentionally, if not intentionally, smite out the stories that are happening. Like, just off the top of my head, there are some pretty good people who stream Dwarf Fortress. Formal Blizzard's great when he streams DF. Picture Point's pretty great when he streams DF. He's just an entertaining dude to talk to, though. RNG is entertaining when he streams DF. Sal is entertaining when she streams DF. Cupo's entertaining when he streams DF. I think people that just get really excited with the events that are happening when they're happening are entertaining to see, are entertaining to watch play DF. And then at the same time, there's also a matter of filling in kind of the in-between bits, in between interesting events. So interesting event happens, and then it's like an hour and a half of talk show, and then interesting event happens, and then an hour and a half of talk show. Like right now, I'm just filling time, really. Like I'm babbling and just trying to be entertaining and stream. Yeah, no, totally. I do actually think that Discord streaming has kind of taken up a bit of that. That and like Twitch pushes the money things so much. A lot of streamers are just like, but give me all the money, even if they have no audience and no viewership. It's kind of sad seeing channels with like sub goals and they have one person watching and they've been streaming for 4 hours. It's like, well, good luck with that. No, totally. Being able to entertainingly fill is called being a host. That's a skill that has to be learned. I guess it could also be taught, but it's mostly something that you just kind of have to learn. I think one of my favorite stories of how somebody found my stream is Bilug's story of how Bilug found my stream. He can tell it if he wants. So many times you enter a small DF stream and there's no sounds, only sound, only the sound. It's like the sound of their air conditioning, just brrr. It might not even be their air conditioning or a fan. It might just be like poor microphone setup. How did I find blind? Now I'm waiting for the story again because I like this story. Folko Fury ended a mandate. Oh, geez. Is someone going to prison? I don't think so. Hopefully not. No, it was just the export ban on bucklers, I think. So I guess I can now export bucklers. Not that I will. I can. I wonder how old Focal Fury is. How old are you? You are my mayor, after all. $150. My mayor could die. Was jovial, remembering having a mandate deadline met. Irritated after wearing tattered clothing. What do you have that's tattered? A cloak. Cloak. 50. Let's make 50 cloaks, so every dwarf will get a cloak. I mean, I guess the fact, the statement that I fill time in an entertaining fashion is like set in stone by the fact that people watch my VODs. The fact that people sit down and watch my VODs and find my VODs entertaining means that I do a good job filling time. And the unfortunate thing about Twitch that I've noticed over the years is there's definitely certain personality types that have a really hard time just being entertaining. And I've certainly encountered people over the years that people just don't stick to. Like, I've certainly encountered streams over the years that are just like, oh, well, you're an entertaining person, but you have a really hard time just gaining any kind of traction. Also, oh my god, a streamer who I follow is streaming for the first time in 4 fucking years. Who also lurks in my chat all the time and never actually talks. That's neat. Also, be like, were you asking me how did I find you? Or are you telling this story? Now I'm actually wondering. Because it's possible you were asking me. Oh, there we go. I was just took a minute to write it in. No, not Monotone Tim. No, it's a bookcase. I don't know if you remember Bookcase, but she streamed a lot of City Skylines back in the day, and I loved watching her streams. No, Monotone Tim actually streamed twice in 2020. It's like right at the beginning of 2020 and then right at the end of 2020. So I'm going to read this story out for anybody who maybe can't see chat. But B-Lug says, I was watching a small DF streamer. We were 7 viewers. It was not that great, but not that bad either. And he was refreshing the directory from time to time, and suddenly Blind started streaming DF. And he had 19 viewers that day. And the guy you were watching, which means I'd literally just turned my stream on. Like, I'd only just started. Because even on a bad day on DF, I usually, even back when I was like trying to get into streaming DF, it took a little bit, but I usually would have like 40, 50 people even on a slow day. He had, I started streaming DF and he had 19 viewers, and on that day, and the guy I was watching started getting angry that he was there for a while and that the new guy in the directory appeared and had way more viewers than him. And then after 30 minutes of him ranting about the other stream, he changed to Blind Ones, and you've never left since. And now B-Lug is requesting help. B-Lug needs to seek asylum because he is stuck in... I don't know what's the wording I would use. B-Lug needs to seek asylum from the crypt because he can't escape. You can never escape. You're one of us. One of us. Oh, also Pete McTavish was streaming recently too. That was a weird moment. I like how everybody's guessing. I like how you guessed after I linked to the channel too. I miss Pete's streams, but his wife got better, so he didn't need to be home all the time anymore, which is good. Because that's why Pete McTavish streamed a shit ton back in the day, is because his wife was ill. And so he had to stay home to take care of her. And she would be sleeping for large periods of the day, so he would just stream. But then his wife got better, so he went back to working full time. Which is great, but also then his streams went away and I was sad. Somebody left a seat up here. That's a little odd. Someone else who I haven't seen in ages is Zillioness. I wonder what happened to her. Zilly. I know she moved from Florida to Seattle. And then and then I saw her at TwitchCon once. No, not TwitchCon, PAX. Yeah, at PAX at the Frontier event. And then she just kind of vanished. I wonder what she's up to these days. I sometimes wonder about people that I used to watch. Chat, do you ever like fall down rabbit holes of YouTubers that you used to watch and then, or like streamers that you used to watch? It's like, whatever happened to them? Or like you unfollowed somebody a couple of years ago and you're like, I wonder if they still stream. Do you ever do that shit? Because I certainly do. Every now and again, it'll be like, I wonder what X person is doing these days. So Darren's Dwarf is feeling enjoyment after playing make-believe. Let's check in on some other dwarves. Eternal feels pleasure near a fine door. Angry after getting into an argument. Pretty happy dwarf in general, though. Sellowick is still stressed, but I think getting better. Got real stressed after he saw Patolis die, but he's definitely like accepting that, so that's good. You cringe every time. I recently, so when in like 2009, a friend of mine was very, very, very obsessed. We'll check. A friend of mine was and I think like the natural response to this is just going to be oof. But a friend of mine was very obsessed with Ray William Johnson and Shane Dawson. Those two YouTubers. Later on, Ray William Johnson, but mostly Shane Dawson. And I remember like looking into those two recently. It was like not even a month ago. I looked into the two of those recently and was like, oh, well, Ray William Johnson is like a podcaster now and he's kind of just doing whatever. And Shane Dawson is a creepy motherfucker who shouldn't be allowed on the internet. Anyway, yeah, your dwarf's totally fine. You're my wrestling militia captain. Because you really wanted to practice some martial art. I actually checked you into that at the beginning of today. You feel pleasure after a sparring session and satisfied upon improving observation. Wonder upon communing with Russet Amber the Red Rocks, and you feel satisfied upon improving discipline. You've been reading a lot of books and practicing your wrestling skills, it looks like. Yeah, you dream of crafting a great work of art, and this dream was realized. 141 years old. Or no, just 41 years old, not 141. 41 years old. Yeah. Pretty happy little dwarf. Good shit. 41 years old. Cryo's also pretty happy. Giddy. I like that one. Giddy. That's a good word. Brander, buddy. Might as well check in on your scholar, who's also still alive. Doesn't feel anything when he sees a buzzard's dead body. It says, when all bonds wither, friendship will remain. Many family in the fortress. Descendant of the legendary Eurypterus, one of the original 7 dwarves. 59 years old. Good shit. If anybody else wants me to check in with their dwarf, just give me a shout. Yeah, such a child, mister. I'm assuming that means you want me to check your dwarf axon. She is relieved remembering bringing somebody to rest. Giving you all of the doctoring skills. She felt pleasure near a fine door and embarrassed upon the lack of dining tables. I don't understand why I keep getting that. I got so many tables. She doesn't feel anything after seeing a buzzard's dead body and euphoric due to inebriation. 35 years old. Born in the year 95. Just let you know when you die? Yes, I will. Well, I will certainly exclaim it at the time and do my best to remind you when you pop in next. I used to like this one guy's comedy videos way back, but apparently he turned into a borderline cult leader and beats his girlfriends. Athene wins? Like, are we talking about a theme here? What is it with YouTubers becoming cult leaders? Serious question. I guess being a narcissistic psychopath just like makes certain tendencies obvious. Well, I mean, the topic that I usually talk about is the issue of parasocial relationships and this is why I kind of keep a lot of people in my audience like at arm's length, unless I've met you in real life, because parasocial relationships basically is where you know a lot about me and I know nothing about you. Basically meaning it's not a friendship. Like, I hate to break it to you, like, I like you guys are great, but I don't really consider you guys friends. You're almost more clients in a way. That's also a weird way to say it, but like, the issue with parasocial relationships is it's a very one-sided relationship, you know? Or a parasocial friendship. Any situation where one half knows a lot about the other person doesn't. That's usually what I talk about. The thing that I mentioned earlier today was just people get very excited when they see YouTubers they like in YouTube comment sections, which I think is funny. You'll take it up with your secretary. I'll have my people send over and talk to your people. Enjoy the lurk slump. But yeah, no, parasocial relationships would basically be like if somebody falls in love with a YouTuber that they watch. That's kind of a parasocial relationship. Or believes that they're best friends with a streamer that they watch. And that happens. That's quite common. It's a friendship or a relationship in a position of power where one person knows the person a lot better than the other person. It's a kind of a freaky thing that only really happens either in celebrity situations or online personality type places. It's kind of a recent phenomenon that happens due to social media and the way technology is. It's not necessarily bad. I mean, there are other instances where it can happen outside of that. Things like falling in love with your therapist, kinda, is similar to a degree. Celebrities, you know, people on TV. Yes, Zatos, yeah. Oh, certainly. I mean, definitely. Definitely. I mean, if you have people that will listen to you and do whatever you say from a distance, it's more of it's very easy to abuse that kind of friendship or relationship power. And if somebody is easily manipulated, then yes, being in a position of power is scary or dangerous. You're not stalking me. I mean, I mean, you can stalk me, just like, you know, don't show up at my house and ask to sleep on my couch. Like, ask first. Like I said earlier, help, let me out. This madman keeps taking my money from me on Patreon, and I just don't know how to stop giving it to him. Thanks for all you do, B-Lug, seriously. Glad I can be a noise in your ear and help you get obsessed with dumb hobbies like records. Speaking of records, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord because tonight I'm gonna stream some. I mean, I had a friend of mine who's who's a hobbyist streamer ask me if I wanted to get married so that he could move out of the States so he could get healthcare here in Canada. He's like, hey Greg, you want to get married? I'm like, not really. Not really ready for that kind of commitment. So I've already had people ask me if I want to get married so that they can escape the US and sleep on my couch. Yeah, you wouldn't want to sleep on my couch. It's not long enough for an adult. A child could sleep on my couch. It's a quarter of an IKEA couch. It's not particularly comfy. I do, however, have a folding cot and a sleeping bag if you're really desperate. And if you're in town and really desperate and actually need somewhere to stay, DM me and we'll talk, but like, maybe I'll help you get a hotel or something. You want to practice some martial art, Ara? All right, well, I'm going to add you to the bear fighters then. You slept in worse places. I once slept on a couch in somebody's basement and woke up to 4 people I didn't know at a table in that basement doing lines of coke. So I've probably also slept in worse places. I've also slept on park benches, so you know. Can I put the cot beside the couch? The cot's lower than the couch to a point where you couldn't really sleep on both. Oh, it's spring. Oh, all right, chat. How many people do you think have died? There's like 9 dwarves that could die right now. Maybe more. Maybe 10 or 11 even. Oh, 2. I'm counting 2. There's 2 in the tavern that are dead. There's 2 right there. All right. No one's been found. How many are we down to? 3 died. 3 died. And the annual tribute from Bastija Smak has arrived. How have they not noticed them? Okay, cutest ghost has been found dead, and Burger has been found dead. Actually, no, I think it is 2. It is definitely 2 because I expelled one. So yeah, 2 dwarves are found dead. Yeah, they really sent me, like, dwarves that were literally about to keel over dead. Oh, hey, an iron anvil. A skunk parchment sheet. How nice of them. You get 1 more year. You win roulette this year. Is that a hello? Also, hello, Duvin. How's things? You were close. Sounds like you're playing Among Us. I mean, place your bets. Who's dead? Bring out your dead. No, it totally is. Also, as I proved in Gift Vaults, it's really easy to get really big tributes really quickly. Cutest ghost was not the imposter. But the Warm Shadow's pretty sus. Did anybody see the fan art of Dwarf Fortress Among Us? The off-pattern statue is a statue that I think got knocked over. Yeah, it's a statue that got knocked over that is either bugged or forbidden. It's forbidden. I can fix it. I think it was a statue that got knocked over. From the looks of things. Yeah, it's getting removed. Bring out your dead. Okay, why isn't bring out your dead gong? Also, what the fuck's up with my hair? Why isn't bring out your dead a sound command yet? Can someone please make a bring out your dead? Maybe just a single bring out your dead gong. We need that. Somebody go make that so I can give it to my subscribers and make the rest of you pay money for it. By the way, if you would like sound commands on this channel, it's $7 a month on Patreon. And then you can help a streamer pay his bills. I want to say Northern Quarter actually has that command.
Cheese for everyone.
Like that command. And thanks for the money monthly. Pilot guy. Through a massive statue garden. It's kind of epic if you think about it. The elves have arrived to trade. That was easy paperwork, man.
Why are these fools still breathing my air? This is unacceptable!
Trade. It is unacceptable. You know, after all this time, we still don't know why all these fools are still breathing your air.
Lovely fruit, the tomato. Remove everything that's good from it, the seeds, the vitamins, the nutrients, everything that's good about it, and just jam it full of shit garbage shit sugar, and put it in a shit bottle that sounds like shit when you put it on your shit. It's shit! Stop eating ketchup!
It's funny, because, like, I'm sure most of the people who use that command really like ketchup. They just think it's funny.
Hero Quest is the best game ever made, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Speaking of best game ever made, did you guys hear that the 7-time world champion of Tetris died unexpectedly?
Primeval's up, you.
I'm stretching my arm. My shoulder's hurting. He apparently had a medical emergency and passed away on the 4th of January. He was 39 years old. Yeah, it was the classic Tetris World Champion. Yeah, I only learned about it the other day. Apparently his family was not public about it for a little bit, which is totally fair. Yeah, widely considered to be the best Tetris player of all time. Yeah, he was, like, not even middle-aged. Life's short. Value it. Kind of goes into the discussion that we were having earlier, where it's just like, don't hurt yourself. Take care of yourself. Just haven't eaten anything that could use it. I mean, it's disgusting, so you should. Is my stream still up? My dashboard just went all fucky. I'm assuming it is, because chat isn't full anarchy, but...
Oh, dude, fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!
I'm wondering if we need that to be louder.
Hero Quest is the best game
Nah,
ever
it's fine.
made, and anyone who says otherwise
I was
is
just
wrong.
playing another command for contrast. Alright, new command incoming. Alright. You guys get to figure out what the command is, but it's up.
Bring out your dead.
That was pretty easy. I will trade for a hood. Let's make some cloth. Let's make another farmer's shop. Someone's been murdered? I don't know. I don't think we need that one. That's why I didn't add it. Just because somebody mentions it doesn't mean I add it. You need to be a subscriber at tier 2 or on Patreon at $7 a month. Aquatsar. Yeah. It's kind of how I incentivize Patreon. So anybody that you see using sound commands are either tier 2 subs on Twitch or are supporting the channel on Patreon. And like, it might seem kind of expensive, but I'm not a huge channel. I live alone. I pay all of my rent by myself. I pay for all my groceries, all my medical expenses, everything by myself. So in order to be able to do this full time, there's certain things I have to sell out on. Like, you know, a friend of mine, Northern Quarter, he has hundreds of sound commands and they're all free. He's also a paramedic, first responder, full time. So this is my livelihood. So.
Bring out your dead.
And, you know, I would argue subscribing to my stream may be better value than Netflix, depending on who you are. Also, if you subscribe with Prime, then you also get Amazon Prime with it, so fuck Netflix. As we get much more cloth done, the elves will be leaving soon. They are happy with the food that we gave them. Weaving cloth is such a good pastime for dwarves. How's Ara doing? Yes, you are doing well. You are ashamed wearing old clothing. All right, yeah, it's just time to do cloth. Donkey is great. Donkey is pretty great.
You fucking donkey!
We did cloaks not too long ago. You know, I'm subscribed to the Gordon Ramsay YouTube channel, so I see all the videos he uploads. Do you guys know that he, as of this morning, has a match 3 game? I saw that video pop up. It's like, Gordon Ramsay now is a video game. And I was like, what? And it's a match 3. And I'm just like, really? Isn't that like a few years out of date? Like, wasn't that like a really cool thing to do like 10 years ago? Maybe not 10 years. 5 years ago? I guess match 3s never really get old. Match the swear to the horrible food. No, you do match 3s on your phone and then food cooks in front of it. There you go. You're not supposed to say no. They just subscribed. You're supposed to say yes. Although I don't have a yes command, but hold on, I gotta add your name to the list. And then I'll do the thing. Just want to get this aside first. There we go, done. By the way, Aquatsar, now you can try it. I literally clicked refresh half a second after you clicked the button or you typed the thing in. So try it now. Because I do manually have to enter your name into a notepad list to make that work. But seriously, thank you very much for subscribing at tier 2. Enjoy the ad-free viewing, the dwarfs, the sound commands. Yes, you were actually faster than I can type. I have to go to my bot. I have to tab out, go to my bot, scroll down, click on scripts. Click on scripts, go to the top right, then click on Streamer Noyatron, right click on that, open folder, open up a notepad file, and then copy paste your name into that, save the notepad file, and then refresh the script. And in that time, you typed an exclamation point dead. So, and Blug programmed it, so you have to thank Blug for the script. Although, at the same time, Blug, what are the odds we could, like, make it pull the names automatically from the Patreon API and the Twitch API at some point, so I don't need to manually manage them every month? We have the budget for a live studio audience? What, in the sound commands?
Oh, dude, fuck yeah, dude. Let's go. Sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
Pilot keeps typing the ducking sound command that I'm thinking of, and it's scaring you. Oh, what? Well. I'm sorry that it keeps scaring you. Also, the hell yeah command is actually just a whole bunch of people from the chat shouting, whoa, into their microphone. But seriously, thanks for the tier 2 subscription. That's not cheap. That's a lot of money. So, thank you. I mean, chat's just like advertising for me, right? That's what chat's doing. They're just advertising.
Tea Earl Grey, hot.
I'm getting like daily emails now from Discord. And I really wish they would stop because they're really fucking annoying. And I keep on thinking, are you removing my things that you just gave me? And every time they're like, nah. Also, I hit 5,100 subscribers on YouTube, which is cool. But thanks, guys, for all the support today. Is that for when IKEA steals something? It's for whenever you want to use it. I've been a Discord partner for multiple years, but they recently changed all the perks for Discord partners. I've been a Discord partner since like almost exactly the same time I got partnered on Twitch. I got partnered on Twitch and then Discord partner like within a week of each other. That's why I'm wearing a Discord partner hoodie. And why I have a Discord partner mug. And why I have a Discord partner pin. Pins? Yeah, pins. So yeah, today we get to try out our brand new top quality music on Discord. So that'll be interesting. Because as of 2 days ago, I now have the highest quality streaming audio through Discord. I don't get the higher quality video stuff, but I do get the highest quality audio now. So I just thought I saw a dead dwarf, but it wasn't actually a dead dwarf. All right, this dwarf isn't getting a lot of positive thoughts from being a recruit. They're getting some, but not a lot. The important question though is what kind of music are we gonna do? How did I pull that off? They just gave it to me. I didn't pull anything off. They changed the Discord partner benefits because they removed a lot of channels that were Discord partners but stopped getting enough traffic to continue being Discord partners. Like Zant lost it, for example, but Zant also never streams anymore. So basically old channels that like quit streaming. I think I'm going to move my forge in here. Because right now the forges are kind of like in here and in here. I think I'm going to move the forge into here and the metalsmith's guild into here. Because I have this giant room. So let's make things a little bit nicer in here. So let's also make some downstairs into here so that I can like access this stuff from over here. And this will be a pretty easy task to just kind of work on. And I can make this area very nice because, you know, let's be honest. The metalsmiths in Dwarf Fortress are basically gods. But yeah, so they removed a lot of old Discord partners, and in doing so, grandfathered in the old Discord partners with the old perks and then gave the continuing / current Discord partners new perks. So that's why I now have the banner image and the animated icon.
Whoa, dude, yeah, dude, this is fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
Also, Duvin used to be rich. I was thinking about making another one that's like 250,000 channel points, which is just gift me a sub. And I'll just gift you a sub. I'm thinking about making a very expensive channel points redemption to get gifted a sub. But I'm kind of worried that it'll just make people beg for subs. Now you have 46 points. Gotta work on it, man. You'll get back there. But yeah, now we just need to figure out what we're gonna do, what kind of music I'm gonna stream tonight. I'm kind of thinking about just doing more of the like stoner rock that I have because I got a lot of stuff I haven't played on there. It'll be fun. But thank you for watching the channel enough, Duvin, to hit 100,000 channel points. Also, speaking of being rich, no one has invested tickets today. So I'm gonna do that. Guess you did, Nightingale. A bunch of gift subs got chucked around earlier in the day. And thanks for popping in to say hello. And enjoy the emotes. Or forget you have them and then never use them. Like I always do with gifted subs. And then in like 20 days, realize that they're in your emote list and go, wait, who the fuck is this person? Which is usually how I go about it. Maybe a little harsh, I don't know, but that tends to be how it happens for me. Yeah, looks like you got hit by Reza. How are you going to build awesome fortresses? With your keyboard and computer, I would assume. Or pillows, if it's a pillow fortress. Because you haven't confirmed nor denied whether or not you're building dwarf fortresses or pillow fortresses. I like to imagine they're pillow fortresses. All right, steel anvil, 10. Hopefully I'll still be using my keyboard. It's way faster. I mean, I play games with my mouse anyway. It's right here. Don't you? You don't? Oh.
Whoa, dude, fuck yeah, dude. This is fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
Once again, I spent $20 on that plushie. Of a really big plushie mouse that looks like a rat because of how big it is. I spent $20 on that just to make that joke. I committed. Neil, thanks for the host. Cheers, man. Totally worth it. I mean, I also have rubber ducks, so I guess. Not the dumbest prop I own for my stream, that's for sure. Fuck you, man. Your investments never pay off. I mean, it's real bad odds, to be fair. All right, so all of these anvils, or all of these forges are going to be made of forge. Or are going to be forged out of steel. Well, silver. The anvils are going to be forged out of steel, and the actual forges themselves are going to be made out of silver. Nice. Authority. 69 bits makes a giggity sound. All right, I'm going to engrave this back wall. Oh, also, this goes without saying, that most recent episode of The Expanse, it's really fucking good. It's real fucking good. Also, I really hate watching shows as they're ongoing. I wish that the Amazon Prime didn't do the thing of, oh, we release an episode every 2 weeks, or every week. It's like, come on. At least they start us with 3. They're not absolute monsters, just mostly monsters. Just another reason to hate Amazon. They don't give me all of the show all at once. They just give me 1 episode at a time. Those stingy bastards. Satisfying remembering work. When they were burning Heart away. Did you watch the most recent one? Let's try and keep spoilers to a minimum, but like I predicted that one character was going to have that one demise the way they did, and I thought the other character was also going to die, but then did they die, but did they make it? Every show needs that one martyr. Is that a horse? A horse. Engraved on the wall is an exceptionally designed image of a horse by Eternal. The horse is falling. The artwork relates to the collision of a horse with an obstacle in Longdeath in the mid-autumn of 31. The family dynamics are a bit cliche. It's a bit cliche, but like, I don't care. It works. It's good cliche. Like, The Expanse isn't a perfect show, but fuck, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in. No, that's probably, okay. I have a few theories as to what this might be. There's Wolverines on this map. Horses can jump pretty high. It may have jumped into a tree and then fallen out of said tree. That's thing number 1 it could have been. Maybe it was scared over my wall and fell into the fortress. That's also an option. May have fell down some stairs. Oh, because of this, the image of a horse falling. I'm gonna screenshot that though. That's it is a pretty good mental image. I kind of want somebody to draw that one. That's good. That's really good. Should I post this in the No, I'm gonna put it in the Dwarf War Talk room. Actually, you got me wondering. What is how is art gonna look in the Steam version of DF? Are they just gonna have descriptions, or are they gonna do procedural art? I doubt it. But like, what if they did? Yo, what if they did? That would be a lot of art. Yes, Aquasar. Sorry for the slip of the tongue. The accurate physics in The Expanse is the best part. I don't know. There's points in the show where like people go out into space and then go back into the vacuum, and then back into the spaceship and like not die without spacesuits on. That I kind of go, you'd be dead. But then again, what do I really know? It's like, I feel like you would just immediately die of radiation poisoning. I wouldn't say it's necessarily accurate physics in The Expanse. I think it's the believable physics. It's like, that's not possible, but plausible? Ultima Ratio Regam's approach might work well. Man, I wish Ultima Ratio Regum didn't crash so much in the current version. Because, God, that game is cool. It'd be really cool, yeah. I don't know. Ultima Ratio Regum is both one of the best, one of the coolest things ever made, and also maybe one of the worst things ever made. Okay, they're making my steel anvils now. Perfect. Are we talking about The Expanse or image AI generation? There's kind of two conversations going on at once, and I'm not sure which one you're referring to, Zapdos. Let's see if we can read any other good art. An image of a diamond. Okay. An image of Cappy, the dwarf. And the clear home. And the clear hame, the iron shield. Cappy is raising the clear hame. The artwork relates to the naming of the clear hame in Longdeath by the dwarf Cappy. Rough murdered in the early autumn of 111. Pretty standard. What's the S? It's a finely well-designed image of a snail man by Brander Buddy. A snail man, eh? Must be a Splatterface fan. It's an image of a bolt. The image is the symbol of the ignited creation. A dwarven civilization. What's this one? Oh, is that what I think it is? Oh, it's an image of statues. All right. Not what I thought it would be. Is that a grate? Two grates, my mad hijinks. Two grates don't make amazing. An image of a pear tree. I kind of want to screen cap an image of a moon snail. I kind of want to grab the image of the snail man and send it to Krugs and be like, yo, I think I've got a fan on my hands. Really? Have they? Maybe my also, I mean, yeah. There's also like pseudo artificial gravity in The Expanse. But I do really like the whole they're just magnetic boots thing. But they have really strong hair gel in The Expanse, I guess. I don't know. The Expanse is believable enough that I can suspend my disbelief, which isn't something I can do in Star Wars or even Star Trek. So I can suspend my disbelief, and that's all you really need for that style of science fiction, in my opinion. If it's believable enough that I can suspend my disbelief and be like, wow, that is cool and believable, then we're good. Like, scene from the first season of The Expanse, so I guess minor spoiler. There's a scene when they're in a Martian battleship, and a railgun blast comes through the side of their hull and cuts off one of the guys' heads. And they're in zero gravity because their artificial gravity is not working because they're in vacuum. And his head just explodes and his blood just like starts coming out just very slowly in 0G. And then there's this intense sequence of them like plugging the hole and like super gluing it shut basically with some adhesive stuff with like a basically like a book essentially. Like they're plugging the hole. They plug the hole and then the artificial gravity comes back and everything just goes splat onto the ground. It's so fucking good. Like, I don't know. Like, it's good enough. All right, let's do wood furnaces over here, except I'm gonna make all of these out of silver too. It's like, is that stuff necessarily 100% real? Nah, but it doesn't need to be. All right, I'm going to do 10 smelters, also out of silver. 1, 2. Actually, I'm going to do that one further apart. And I'll put the Metalsmith's Guild in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. Eh. 11. We'll do 12. 12. Just because the ships are constantly accelerating, they have absurd engines that can never run out of fuel. Yep. Also, where they say most injuries won't survive because they don't have artificial gravity to handle bleeding and pressure. I think that's cool. Yeah, no. Well, when they're in their ships, or if they're in zero gravity, yeah, and they're using the magnetic boots, they just can't heal because they'll just bleed forever, essentially. And internal bleeding is impossible to fix. And in so it's like when someone starts bleeding, they're like, we have to get them to the artificial gravity because they do have gravity on some of the bigger space stations. I actually don't like Spaceballs. I don't know. I've never found that movie funny. It's just not my sense of humor. I'm not going to knock anybody who likes Spaceballs, but it's just... that movie just has never been for me. What do you guys think of the new forges? Do you guys think it's appropriately dapper? It's a bit of an improvement, frankly. See, I like Blazing Saddles. I really like Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is amazing. And there's some pretty quotable lines in Men in Tights. But I can very much live without,
Bring out your dead!
I can very much live without Spaceballs. Oh, hey, Zope. What's up, dude? Oh, fair enough. No, I mean, it's great meme material. I like memes related to Spaceballs. And don't get me wrong, Dark Helmet was very funny the first time I saw that shit. Like, that was very amusing. The whole, like, kind of bullshit is very funny. But, like, outside of, like, the initial novelty, I don't find that movie particularly funny. Well, see, we haven't dug down that far, and I'm never going to, so while I understand the sentiment, I don't want to open up more than one cavern layer, and I also don't want access to the lava layers for this fortress. Because we're trying to keep this fortress alive for 1,000 years, so everything is for the frame rate. Everything is for the frames. We're on year 131, which means we are 126 years old into this fortress. So, regardless of if you're against them, doesn't matter. My grandfather was super serious, but they had History of World War Part 1 on, and when the robber has Moses held up with a crossbow in the sea parted, he laughed his ass off. I mean, you know. You know, I tend to agree with Audio. Monty Python is significantly funnier than Mel Blanc. Although, one thing that I will say, or Mel Brooks, not Mel Blanc. What am I saying? Mel Brooks. My favorite Monty Python movie isn't technically a Monty Python movie. My favorite Monty Python movie is A Fish Called Wanda, which has most of Monty Python in it. You need to re-up this stuff if you want the beer to work. So, my favorite, it's my favorite film that has Monty Python in it. But it's technically just a movie that happens to have all of them in it, and a bunch of them helped with writing it. But it also has a bunch of other actors in it. I think that movie's hilarious. There's just so many good lines in that. Now, I'm well aware of what magma forges do, but I'm not digging down that far. I don't want to pass down that far. So we're just never going to do that. So it doesn't matter if you want me to do that or if you disagree with this design. But I'm going to go quickly prep my stuff for lunch while that dude runs into the fort. I'll be back in a sec.
Woo! Dude, fuck yeah, dude. This is fucking sick. Hell yeah. Woo!
You fucking donkey!
Oh, damn. I wonder if that can kill the giant glass human. You can pump the magma to where I want it? Okay. Duh. What's your point? Do you really think I am going to do that? Do you have any idea how much that affects frame rate? A whole lot. I've done all of those things that you're suggesting. I have thousands of hours in this game now. but we're not doing any of that in Longdeath. Like, straight up, I'm just not doing it. Also, Zope, thanks for the Prime sub for the 14th month. Welcome back. I wasn't suggesting that you're suggesting. I'm just simply stating. Because there was a statement earlier on in the discussion, which was they object to, that Very Inky objects to anything that is not a Magma Forge. So I was simply explaining why I don't have Magma Forges. For letting it slip there? Ah, it's fine. Don't worry about it, man. Shouldn't be worried about letting it slip. It happens. It's not like Twitch wants you to use that Prime. They want you to forget about it. All right, so a large eyeless capybara with a knobby shell that squirms and fidgets. Beware its webs. It's covered in water. Interesting. So there is another forgotten beast on this layer. It's a giant humanoid that shoots acid. Made of glass. Which I think... Yeah, there it is. Which lives right there. Which is just, you know, bullying the local troglodyte population. It's a wet capybara, basically. A soggy, webbed, wet capybara with a turtle shell. Meanwhile, the other one is a great humanoid composed of green glass, long straight tail, and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its deadly dust. Not gas, dust. What left that Forgotten Beast so fractured? Probably all the troglodytes it's been fighting. I just haven't bothered fighting it. I tried to catch it at one point because I have a mechanism to catch Forgotten Beasts, which is why right here I have this guy, which is an enormous quadruped composed of clear glass with wings, and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its webs. I caught that one in between these drawbridges and then sealed it off. So I have the one pet. We also don't also forget the fact that we also have 1, 2 Ettins, a giantess, a minotaur, another giantess, the chained up vampire, and then another Ettin. The Ettins, I'm trying to breed them. Maybe one day they'll actually breed. They just live in the basement. They're quite cozy. Right next to the nice little maze that we have. Oh, also there's a dead Cyclops in the middle because I made the Ettins fight the Cyclops and the Ettins won. They had the eyeball advantage. I don't really have anything to sell them, so we'll just cheat. No, not all of them. Let's do that. Dwarf Fortress glass beasts are weird, though, because, like, glass beasts are incredibly scary until they're not. Like, they're very hard to break, but when they break, they just kind of shatter. I mean, as somebody with one eye, that works, sort of. If I had to fight a person with 4 eyes, I'd be terrified. And 4 eyes and 2 heads, that's even scarier. I'm telling you, man, like, it's horrifying. And see me build that maze? Yeah, I think that was around part 30. 20 something. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of maze. We've also got this. Every 100 years, we put a bunch of livestock into here and then shoot them with the ballistas. My name is Abed. On behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to your people. There is much to discuss. The world is the same as ever. What requests do you have of our merchants? The same as always. I need fuel for my campfires. I mean, forges, so that the elves don't come and try and cut my nuts off. Let's discuss what we were willing to offer you for your craftsmanship. Yeah, the only thing I'm importing is wood, because it's all I need, so that I don't need to chop down trees, so that I don't annoy the elves. On behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my farewell to you and your stout dwarves. A sacrifice to Armok, indeed. Of course we're going to shoot unicorns. Unicorns, piggies, sheep, alpacas if my alpacas start breeding again. You can make glass out of buildings. Wait, you can make glass out of buildings? You can make buildings out of glass on Earth, too. You just have to use intelligent structural engineering. See the Louvre in France. Why would we do that? Because you can. That's why Zapdos. Because we have unicorns. So. Aw, he feels fondness remembering making a friend. How cute. No way to save them? I mean, why? They're my livestock. We're already making them into hats. There's literally a unicorn bone water grate. Besides, it's not like we have any shortage of them. Look at them all. Like, all the white ones are fully grown. All the little ones are foals. All the red ones are foals, I mean. We also have plenty of sheep. Check them out. We also have an alpaca because I had a male and female alpaca and then one of them died. I think I slaughtered too many of them. So I only have a single alpaca. I also only have 2 piggies. And they haven't been breeding, so I may have to, get me more piggies. Someone brought lunch into the barracks and now it's rotten. Oh, really? Huh. I mean, glass bricks are like... Hold on. Let me look up glass bricks. Because they were a very popular thing in the 50s. Yeah, these fucking things. Every dentist's office I've ever been to has had these. These things. Like these things. Every dentist's office I've ever had in my entire life. Like every receptionist's office has always had these. Also fish. Mine don't have fish. But I do know that stereotype. God, that... Can I just say these look atrocious? I fucking hate the way these things look. Absolutely hate them. It's a very 70s thing. Yep. They're very dated. My dentist doesn't have a fish, but they do have a fake fireplace. And they also have the those videos of like teeth surgeries going on all the time on the teeth channel, and it's mildly disturbing. It's like, I don't want to be staring at this. I need to go. Also, thank you very much to everybody who watches my YouTube stuff, because it's been super neat having a YouTube channel that's actually starting to do well. I feel like they're just bad in general and would crack like crazy in general. Also, in the most recent video, I commented on the fact that in the UI there is no ability for us to see the old Dwarf descriptions. And Krug Smash left a comment. He was one of the first people to comment too, which he says, if they get rid of the written description for each dwarf, I will riot. Not that, like, I want to see Krug Smash riot, but, like, I kind of want to see Krug Smash riot. I just want to see a Krug Smash tantrum spiral. Acoustic paneling plus dampens room echoes. Glass bricks equals reflects tons of sound equals massive room echoes. Like, I'm really, like, someone commented and posed the fact that maybe if we click on the dwarf itself, we'll get the description. Like, the image of the dwarf will get the description, but I don't know. I was really hoping that the UX would just still be this. Like, just give me the wall of text. I just want the wall of text. But I don't know if I like it all that much. And I'm worried. A few people have commented that, so maybe it was you. Or at least have an option to have the wall of text. Yeah, I don't know. Everything is still in flux. What, that Krugs would riot? Why? I mean, I don't think that he's referring to anything even remotely political in that. Pretty sure he's just being Krugs. But yeah, I could see it too soon. I don't know. I hope it's the best it can be. Fortress attracted no migrants this season. Yes. Still no migrants. The thing that the two things that I'm really curious to see still, which they haven't shown at all, are Legends, and I want to know what DF Classic looks like right now. Because, and I'm kind of surprised they haven't done any updates on that. Because I want to know, because they're doing away with this old UI, right? Like, this is going away. So I want to know what the free version of the game's UI is going to look like without the graphics. That's like the biggest question I have now is like, what's the free version of the game going to look like with all the new fancy graphics? Like, there's a big moon graphic, right? But it looks like a moon. It doesn't look like a moon icon or a moon symbol. So how are you going to represent that in ASCII? Is there just literally going to be a picture of the moon at the top? Because that seems a wee bit jarring. You know, if like we have like this fancy like colored UI and then just like ASCII for the dwarves. I don't know. It's odd. Sure. So like the graphics of the actual game itself is just ASCII, but then is the UI going to keep the fancy drawn borders and everything? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, what's the UI going to look like? Like, I know it's still going to have like the kind of structure, but like, because it's still an ASCII UI structurally, which is why it still looks a little dated. Sure, but I want to know what it's going to look like. Like, I'm sure that he has a method. I'm sure he already knows what it looks like. I'm sure he has it running on his end, but we haven't seen any screenshots of it. I would like to see a screenshot of the ASCII version, of the free version, you know? Like, I would love to see a side-by-side. It's like, this is the version that will be on Steam, and this is the version that will be free. I would love to see that. That's all. I mean, yeah, it might look weird. I mean, maybe they'll end up looking nicer even. Like, it could go either way, really. Like the border of the real game? Sure, but okay, hold on. Just let me pop it up and let me just show you what I mean. Just gonna grab the screenshot. Just let me. Actually, I'll just use the Steam page. All right, so this is the news post from today, right? Not caught. Well, actually, here, I'll just open this up in a web browser. Yeah. Open image. Okay, so this is the new UX, right? Text is a lot smaller. Things are a bit more organized. It's still like an ASCII grid, right? I want to know what are those little submenus going to look like in ASCII? What is what are these dividers going to look like in ASCII? I mean, these background titles can turn to ASCII, and that's not a problem. No, that's not how it works, Geek2Games. He stated this in the interview I did with him. The old one is not remaining the old UI. He's not supporting two separate UI designs because that would add extra work for his workflow. So the new UI is getting back transplanted into the old game. That's what he talked about on in my interview with him. I unless that's changed, that's not the case. So I want to know what this is going to look like with that. Sure, I know how ASCII borders work. I've seen multiple games that do it. Dwarf Fortress does things differently than every other game I've ever played. So, I don't know. This might be really fiddly with ASCII. Like, those with borders are going to look strange. I just want to know. I just want a screenshot. That's all I want. I'm just curious as to how all of that is going to look with the coat of paint removed. Like, I have like a mental image of what it might look like. A pretty accurate one probably. Doesn't change the fact I want to see them. No, I don't think it is. And frankly, the visuals don't matter. But doesn't change the fact that I want to see it. Like, and you can keep saying what you're saying, Aqua, and I'm going to keep saying what I'm saying. I don't care. I want to see it. I really do. I agree, Geek. I agree. I was kind of heartbroken when he said that the old UI is going away. But makes sense. Shit, the two Forgotten Beasts fought. And I missed it. But now one of them's in a tree? Oh no, they're both in a tree. Huh. Oh, there we go. They're fighting. Where did the other... Oh, they're still fighting. The capybara is up in a tree, and the humanoid one is like jumping up next to him and like shooting out his dust everywhere. I swear I saw 2 of them for a second there. That was perplexing. Oh, wait. Is there 2 of them? Oh, the other one's still alive. Holy shit. An enormous humanoid. Yeah. Because there was another one composed of Tsavorite. Tsavorite? I don't actually know how to pronounce that one. Knobby shell, and it appears to be emaciated. Beware its poisonous gas. There's a second one. I forgot about the other one because I haven't seen it in like 20 years. Where's the capybara? Still up in the trees. Shit. Damn. I doubt that Diamond Destruct, but because if people were able to make a UI for DF, they would have done it. And notice how there are actually no UI mods for DF. There are external programs that let you work with DF, but there are no UI mods. Also, I love that one Forgotten Beast is called Puke Wars. I mean, it's about what I expected. It's mostly just they get covered in clouds. They're missing a lot, punching, kicking, jumping away. It's hard to tell who's punching who because they're all just labeled as Forgotten Beast. But they're off screen now, so I'm not getting any more information. The last thing that happened was a Forgotten Beast punches Forgotten Beast in the upper arm with its right hand, and the attack glances away. Forgotten Beast punches the Forgotten Beast in the shell with its left hand, and the attack glances away. Like, they're not doing damage to each other. And, like, they're both made of glass, so dust and gas doesn't affect them. And then the other one is just stuck in the tree up here. Or wait, yeah, this guy. Whose left leg is fractured. The eyeless capybara with webs, who's just in the tree now because he can't get down. Exactly, Zapdos. So yeah, whenever people say that, oh, modders will just bring back the old UI, it's like, that's not gonna happen. That's not how that's not how that works. Also, I'm not trying to be snappy with you, by the way, Arquatzar. It's just, I want to see a screenshot. I know what it could possibly look like. There's multiple images in my head of what it could possibly look like. I want to know what it looks like. That's it. But that's just how I am. I want to know how things look. When something's getting worked on, I want to know what it looks like. Because currently I think that the Steam DFUI looks perfectly utilitarian and usable. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible. It's somewhere kind of in the middle. It looks fine. I kind of have just no problems with it. It's just fine. But because of that, I would like to see what the other version looks like greatly. Also, this dwarf was super depressed at one point and is no longer depressed. Excellent. Monkey Bara? I mean, it's not really a monkey because it's just living in a tree, but... Also, I have a lot of caged wild beasts that need to be tamed and eaten. Yeah, I mean, it was funny for a minute, but it never really got to the point where it was annoying. It was just at the point where I was going to start ignoring it. I said my piece, and I was just about to just be like, yeah, I'm just going to not interact with this subject anymore. Besides, I've already made one person unfollow me and leave forever today. I don't want to make more. Makes me genuinely uncomfortable, though, when people just openly brag about working themselves to death. Like that's something that we should be proud of as a society. It's mildly upsetting to me. How many dwarves? In the fortress, technically 38, but our total population is actually 47. Because a bunch of them are merchant workers from the local Helix, who aren't technically citizens, but live here. It's an intentionally small population to keep the frame rate not... I mean, it would be playable if I had 200 dwarves, but if I keep it below 50, we get minimal were creatures, and we can get titans like Ettins and giants and stuff like that. Or dragons or hydras if those wanted to show up. But we don't have the... we don't have to worry about invasions, because I don't want the goblins to invade me. So when I'm playing this fortress, I'm not at war with the elves. Well, I'm at war with an elvish faction, but they shouldn't invade me. Although if they did, I would win because I have some very highly trained squads. I don't want them anywhere near fighting me. They can fight with the mountain home. Oh my god. Wait, hold on a second. Never mind. For a second there, I thought my mountain home wasn't currently invading them. Like, my mountain home are at war with the goblins. They've been invading them for hundreds of years. And I'm technically at war with the elves that live up here. But they don't know I'm here. Yeah, so I'm at war with the Joyous Devil, a goblin civilization. But that's it. What's the biggest safe population? 79. Although it's 79, above 60, you can get ambushes, which is elves. So as long as you're not at war with elves, you can't get ambushed. If you're above 80, you can get raided by goblins. But if you're below 80, you can't get raided. The goblins won't start raiding you. If you hit 80 or above, you've immediately unlocked the goblins will now raid you button, basically. Once you go above 80 and then go back down, they can start invading. I'm keeping the population low specifically so that that doesn't become an issue. Because that it's not that I can't handle it, it's just it impacts mood and it heavily impacts frame rate. And it's a lot of shit to dispose of, and they would overwhelm me eventually. 60 is a pretty safe bet, but my population cap is 51. I'm keeping it there. I mean, no shame in wanting a chill fort when I'm trying to keep it alive for 1,000 years. The whole point of this fortress, the entire goal is I'm trying to keep it alive for 1,000 years in game time, right? So we're basically playing Crusader Kings in DF. It's like a soap opera of me watching the love triangles happen and the children get born and grow up. Like, let's find a dwarf who grew up here. Dwarves like, did you grow up in this fort? No, you immigrated here. Who's somebody who grew up in this fort? Vuzel. The entirety of this dwarves and extended families in the fortress. Because, and they have a marital grandfather, mother and father, Wave Thrash and Dragon Man, grandparents, sisters, uncles, cousins, nieces and nephews, all that shit. They're all in the fortress, which is really neat to see. And having those family trees spread is really cool. But on Saturdays, we do day forts. If you're interested, type an exclamation point day fort in the chat, where you can go download the world and everything. But we do day forts, which are basically one-shot forts. So every Saturday, we decide on a theme at the start of the day. I embark into a different world, and we do one fort in one day. And I'm slowly building out this like world of lore in this one area, which has been a lot of fun. You can't make socks out of leather, and you don't get wool from unicorns, so I can't make unicorn socks. I can make unicorn shoes, and I have. I've also made unicorn caps. In my mind, they have little horns in them. Most of the dwarves will be named. I have 100% of the books in the world in my fort. But yeah, so the day forts, I'll pop the thing up just to show you. In the day fort dock, if you go down to the bottom of it, down here, starting in week 3, we did these little screenshot compilations, so you can see like the little stories of what happened in the different forts, basically, in like little sets of screenshots, which is kind of a lot of fun. Also, all of the VODs are up on YouTube as well. They go up a week after. If you want to download the world, just grab that drive folder and just download the one with the highest number. So you can follow along. You could go explore my forts. At some point, I'll start doing some Legends mode stuff in there too, and revisiting my old forts. It's been fun. I've been very much enjoying that series. It's been a good time. It's kind of inspired, I guess, by Krug Smash's short forts, but the VODs on YouTube are still like 6 hours because it's me. And even though there's a few specific people who complain very loudly that I put full-length VODs up on YouTube, I don't care, and I'm going to continue doing it because I like having the archive and I like having everything in one place. It also lets me be a bit more versatile with my YouTube channel, which is better for the long term sustainability of me being able to do this. But many unwise investments. I made a wise investment last night. I spent $3 on more hour-long puzzle games. I have a bunch more puzzle games to play because I've been enjoying the late night streams of puzzle games. I know some people are just like this. I had one person say that they find them a little bit boring, but I find them so chill. I've played 4 now, just like games that I beat in basically one sitting. They're so chill, so chill. Thanks for hanging out, Aquatsar. Thank you very much for that big fucking tier 2 subscription. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for watching the streams. Also, to those of you who are, if you're new here, because there's actually quite a few new people in the stream, at the start of my streams, I play records. I've got a bunch of records that are stream safe. I play a lot of video game soundtracks and that sort of stuff as part of the start of my streams. Because there's copyright reasons why I can't play a lot of my records, which are, you know, classic rock or metal or other genres that are, you know, not generally stuff that's Twitch safe, bigger artists and stuff like that. And I have a bit of a collection that I've been building. Tonight, after the stream is over, I'm going to pop into the voice channel on Discord, well, specifically the late night radio channel. I'm going to stream some records. So if you want to listen to records with a bunch of people and talk in text chat while we hang out and listen to some music, we'll be doing that tonight. If you want to join the Discord, it's just !Discord. We also chat about Dwarf Fortress and roguelikes and other fun, weird shit in there. And if you don't want to get an at everyone every time I start my stream, just mute the announcements channel. If they tried to accomplish anything else, they would actually be destructive. I mean, I will comment on the complainers because I think they're hilarious. And it's really funny. There's this one guy who every like couple of weeks will comment on one of my VODs. I don't like these long videos, or stop spamming these uploads or something like that. And then I'll get a bunch of dislikes for a few days, and I guess they'll get bored, and then I won't have them for a couple of weeks, and all my videos will have 100% like ratios, and then he'll pop back and dislike a bunch of shit. So I don't know why. They tend to come and go. I don't really care. I mean, I think overall my channel has a 98% like to dislike ratio, so I'm pretty okay with that. I don't know. I mean, like, if all you want from my YouTube channel is the news, I get it. That's fine. There's a reason why the DF news videos get 20,000 views and my VODs get 200 and 300. But okay, I'm going to probably bore all of you for a second here. I'm going to talk about YouTube stats. On average on YouTube, okay, if you have 1,000 subscribers and a video gets 100 views, that's 10% of your audience is watching the video. That is a really good ratio, right? So if you have 100,000 subscribers and you're getting like 10,000 views per video, that's an above average ratio, right? Most channels have about 3 to 4 on the high end percentage. Channels that are of their subscribers actually watch their videos. Channels that are doing really well have a higher percentage of like above 10%. So if above 10% of your subscribers watch a video, that is really good. So people like Krug Smash are doing very well, basically. Now, most of my VODs most of the videos I upload get between 150 to 300 views on the VODs. And that's literally me just exporting a VOD. Like, I'm not doing anything to it. I'm just cutting the intro out and just pushing the whole VOD straight up onto YouTube. And if that gets like 150 to 500 views, that's above the average already. So that's really good. And like the fact that I have the full archive of this fortress on YouTube is really cool. And there's a lot of people that are slowly watching through and thank me for uploading this shit. So if anything, it just gives my channel potential longevity in the future when news gets less frequent. If people are still watching my VODs, then my channel stays alive. Otherwise, it falls out of the algorithm and falls into obscurity. And I have a weird feeling after the Steam version is out, news is going to slow down. I mean, I'm sure it'll still happen when there's update cycles, but there will be the long wait when we get to like the break between Magic. And yeah, at that point, I'll probably go back to doing more lore videos and other things, but there will be a time when there's a lot less news about the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress. And at that point, it's going to be hard times for my YouTube channel. So I need to build my YouTube channel into something that is self-sufficient by the time that ends. Totally. I mean, my big hope is that... My big hope for my YouTube channel is I get to a point where all of my VODs that I upload, the very long videos, get roughly 1,000 to 5,000 views per video. Because that would be as somebody who, makes below minimum wage or around minimum wage, playing video games on the internet full time and being very frugal, that would be a nice amount of passive income to make. That would be like $5 to $10 a day in ad revenue. And that would be very helpful, which is what I'm hoping for. I'm really hoping that the Steam version will bump my channel up a whole bunch when that launches on YouTube. And keep me surviving. But the humans have arrived with their tributes. Stone, are you still awake? Or do I need to screenshot this? But, my streams will still be here. And I will still be playing Dwarf Fortress and roguelikes and other games that interest me. So Stone is still here. Sweet. So hopefully I will, I as a content creator, everything is always like very in flux and very uncertain, right? And it is unwise to bank on one game, but I have a habit of doing that because I get very passionate about things. They brought a llama, a cat, a donkey. Ooh. I think I can throw that llama and donkey in with the alpaca. That's alone, so the alpaca can have some friends. Looking at things about stuff. Yeah, you hadn't spoken in a while, so I was wondering if you just kind of went to bed. But yeah, no, I'm very curious and hopeful that the DF community will remain awesome. But with size, the bad apples become more obvious. And I know that there's already some bad apples in the DF community. They're fortunately few and far between, but there's a few of them. I'm hopeful that they will stay minimal. but we'll see. Which is one of the reasons why I kind of push back against the murder all elves memes and shit. You know, like, let's talk about Dwarf Fortress as a game that is an excellent story generator and character builder, not just a game about murdering all of the elves in existence, you know? I mean, yes, that's an option, and that's a thing you can do, but it's just a thing you can do in a game. And I think kind of as the people who are actively playing Dwarf Fortress, it's kind of up to us to promote the narrative that DF is about generating stories, hearing interesting shit about I get you, Stone. I get you. There's Dwarf Fortress is a very interesting political simulator, and the things that it does with race and like just the different species and the way they interact and cultures and the way that different cultures and styles of characters interact with each other depending on where they were raised and what part of the world they grew up in and who their leaders were. I think all that shit's really interesting, and I think it gets kind of downplayed under the must murder more gubbins. And yeah, murdering goblins is fun, okay? Like I like doing forts where it's like, okay, let's see how many people we can drop into lava. But like, let's have fun. Like, yeah, you can have a fort where you're warmongers and you go murder everything, sure. But like, do that in an interesting way, not in a just let's go slaughter things. You know? Also, I'm assuming that you have this stone. Let me know if you need me to reopen that. Sure, but like, you can definitely be somebody who distrusts those who appear unusual or live differently, but like, that's totally fine. But you also recognize the other interesting things that Dwarf Fortress does with elves, right? It's like, yes, elves are often eco-terrorists. But if you listen to them, they have a point. They don't want you to chop down all the trees, you know? They will attack you if you do, but because spoilers, yes. Goblin civs are we had a goblin. So I did a holiday fort. I took a break from this fort over Christmas. I did a fortress called Gift Vault, right? We ended up with the king of my civilization in that fortress. That was a goblin that was 300 years old who was born in that civilization, raised in that civilization, and literally had the description of a dwarf. There was nothing about that goblin that read that they were a goblin aside from their visual appearance. Everything else, oh, and instead of saying craftsdwarfship, it said craftsmanship. Everything else about that goblin read entirely like a dwarf, which is cool as fuck. Also, we had a dragon in that fort. That was also cool as fuck. I have a backup save of that fort, so I still have it, even though I technically retired it. So that's the kind of, and like someone who is inexperienced with Dwarf Fortress and never reads the descriptions, which I think is a large portion of the player base, would never see that sort of stuff. You don't feel anything about Gift Vault? Well, that's because you were dead. But yeah, no, it's really neat, the stuff that can happen in DF when you stare at that stuff and pay attention to it. One of the cooler things I found in Legends actually was a elvish necromancer queen. Okay? She was a queen of a human civilization, right? This was right after the Villains update came out back in February of last year, because Legends got that big overhaul and things got a lot more interesting in Legends. So she was an elvish queen of a human civilization who had been a queen for hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And systematically, she would get married, murder, get married, plot to murder the person she married, and then murder the person she married, and then resurrect them as a zombie. She had hundreds of zombie ex-husbands. Like, she literally had an army of zombie necromancer husbands. That has to be a novel somewhere. Like, that has to be a fucking story. Like, that's amazing. It's like that shit's so fucking cool. I wonder if I can do this shit. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, probably what happens is she got stuck in some sort of like world gen bug where it just looped. You had a world gen yak with 3 notable kills. You should ask Stone about the different like unnamed animals that have weird numbers of kills. Like a chicken that was unnamed and a whole bunch of kills. Once again, my name is Asteth. I'm your liaison from the Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation. There is much to share. We've updated your maps. What requests do you have of our merchants? Please bring all the wood so I don't need to chop it down. So I can keep making my statues. But yeah, no, because of the way I'm playing this fortress, it's become more of a talk show. Like, it's like, let's just hang out in Twitch chat and talk about Dwarf Fortress and Dwarf Fortress related things and other Dwarf Fortress related things or non-Dwarf Fortress related things. And I will just kind of have this running in the background because this is probably going to take me another year to complete. But it's kind of fun. And I've had people referring to it as a podcast in YouTube comments. So, good question. I don't know when this outpost liaison will die. There will just be one day where we get no outpost liaison. Curious. I think we looked the outpost liaison up, didn't we? And they were like old enough to die. It's just a matter of when. What about an unnamed chicken that killed 10,000 unnamed chickens? I'm sure that's happened, right? We are running on charcoal. Yeah, which is why I'm buying wood. So I'm buying wood and slowly turning the wood into charcoal. Although I do have a underground mushroom farm. Not that that actually helps anything. Up here, I got this one, and then I have another one that's deeper down. So when I do desperately need wood, I'll hack those down. Because in my RP brain, the elves don't hate that as much. But I know mechanically they do. Let's just get rid of the wood that's over here. I think in my entire time playing Dwarf Fortress, I've only used mineral coal once or twice. In the thousands of hours that I have in this game. Also, because tomorrow is my day off, we need to figure out what we're going to do for day 4 next. You've had it many, many times? I haven't. But then again, I've also had 2 dragons, and I know somebody who has significantly more time in this game than I have, and he's never seen a dragon. So. And then never again. Fair enough. I'm not going to say that that's cheating. That's a perfectly legitimate strategy. Although there are ways to know where things like coal are. So like if you're using DF hack or something else or another one of the tools to like find them, that's also totally an option, right? Got to get rid of those large sandals. And another thing that I was telling people who watch this stream is like, oh, if you want an exciting fort while I'm playing Longdeath, just play your own fort, and we can all just talk about DF while I let dwarves die of old age and you go stabbing stuff. I mean, I know for a fact King the Space Disco Fox in my chat, one of my mods, does that. I've done that a couple of times. I don't know. I personally like the excitement of finding rare materials. It's like, oh god, we found the thing. But like, meh. Do what you want to do. Nothing wrong with just having the perfect embark every time. Same reason I don't judge people who, you know, use DF hack to just cheat materials into existence, or people who dupe iron or steel. Like, do what you want to do. I personally don't do it, but like, you can do whatever the heck you want. Really. It's been on glacier forts. Actually, that's a pretty good reason too. Usually what I do with glacier forts is I just power dig down to the first cavern layer and then flood stuff. Using aquifers, because glaciers almost always have aquifers, which makes life a lot easier in that regard. Also, I know that there's a few new people here. Generally, this stream is like a ton of Dwarf Fortress, traditional roguelikes, and puzzles, and other weird shit that I'm into, so... It's generally a lot of DF, but there will occasionally be an odd day where I don't play any DF. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're following the stream. I don't have a notification for followers, but I do see them pop up over on my dashboard, so thanks for all the follows today, guys. I'm assuming a lot of people are kind of coming in from the YouTube video I put up today, so... But games that I'm particularly partial to recently is there's a little game named Lost Flame that I've been playing because it recently got an update. But games that I'm pretty partial to are Jupiter Hell. I really like the Chaos Forge games. I really like Caves of Cud. There's a few I need to kind of go back to as well. Rift Wizard is really good. A bunch of other games that are on Steam as well. So I need to get into Cogmind proper at some point. Yeah, that's what I do. Generally, it's like, what I find is like, if you're into Dwarf Fortress or willing to watch games like, or I really like Brogue, if you're into Dwarf Fortress and you like games like Dwarf Fortress, then you probably are just going to be interested in most of the shit that I stream. Speaking of which, you can't wait for the Odd Realm update. Speaking of which, are you supporting the developer of Odd Realm on Patreon? Because he made a Patreon recently. Krug Smash and myself are both supporting him on Patreon, so you should give him money on Patreon too. Brogue is great in Palification. But yeah, generally like a pretty good indicator of what the heck I stream is just go to my YouTube channel and look at the VODs that I upload. There's some stuff that doesn't make it to the YouTube channel, but generally if it's streamed on here, it's made it to the YouTube channel in some way. Excuse me. Except for the records. I don't put the hour-long intros onto the YouTube channel at all. Hi. Oh, that's me opening up my YouTube channel in the background. Also, somebody just mentioned the health tab in the YouTube comments. And now I'm wondering, are they going to have a text description of the dwarf's health like they currently do? Or are they going to have like an image of a dwarf with like injuries on them? Now I'm very curious about that health tab. Also, I'm trying to think, what screens have we not seen yet? We haven't seen the locations screen. We haven't seen the military screen. What else have we not seen yet? Yeah, like Project Zomboid stuff. We haven't seen the orders screen, but I'm sure that could just be packed in there. We haven't really seen any of this stuff. I'm trying to think, what other screens have we not seen? I guess we haven't seen the rooms screen. But I guess they could do this with an overlay. We haven't seen the jobs screen. That's probably just a pop-up menu. We haven't seen the trading screen. I think they're about 50% done from what we've seen. At least in the like Fortress mode UI. That's an estimate, but I think so. We've seen all of the Embark stuff. With just a skeleton hat on your screen, you should refresh your stream, sir, because everybody has usernames on my screen. We'll never get this thing released. I mean, I need to take down the note that I came up with earlier, which is I need to ask him if we can ever get the descriptions of dwarves' accents and if their accents vary from region to region. Posting it in Discord? I mean, like I said, it's probably just a bug. And you need to refresh. I'm waiting for the post, man. Plus 25 years of development time. That, or as chat mentioned earlier, he's already thought of it, developed it, has it in the background, and just hasn't implemented it yet. And also, if you haven't, I do very much recommend going to my YouTube channel and watching the interviews I did with Tarn, because that's probably my best work. Like, if I were to, like, humbly brag, probably my best work. At least when it comes to stuff for the Dwarf Fortress community. Can you embark underground? There's a DF hack, and I know Masterwork Dwarf Fortress that will let you both embark in caves, on mountains, on other settlements, and underwater. So. But no, that wouldn't be possible for a day fort because I don't use DF hack. Also, thanks for reminding me, because I need to get that donkey out of its cage before it dies. Donkey.
You fucking donkey!
Apparently I have a cat in a cage too. Should pull it out. And a dog. There we go. I'm just going to put this out there. I think I speak for everybody here when I say we don't really care about spoilers and clowns and fun and all the basement stuff here. The only spoiler is directly how you actually find it. So you can talk about their existence because I pretty openly talk about their existence. So don't worry about spoilers and chats. Just put in a warning. I mean, everybody has usernames. There's no usernames missing here. What are you talking about? Like Project Zon. Okay, person has username, person has username, person has username, person has username, person doesn't have Oh, wait, no, person didn't have username. Okay, no, never mind. I see it now. I don't know. That's, like I said, probably just a Twitch bug. I've seen weirder things pop up in Twitch chats. It thinks you're a robot? Probably. Sometimes you type so fast, I think you're a robot. Oh, yeah, Wolverine. Or a wombat? Weasel! I was wrong. Wolverine, Wombat, Weasel. Wayland Yutani. Are there rumblings of when my next interview will maybe? Well, currently I don't think there's like I've talked about this a couple times, Tele. I don't think there's enough new information necessarily to do one soon, but I really want to talk to Zach. And I also want to have the artists on. I tried to get Meph on for a little bit, but times just like didn't work out. Hey, Jehozel, how you been, man? But yeah, I'd like to have, there's a few people I would like to have on, that I haven't had the chance to have on yet. But with Tarn, just once there's enough new information that it's worth doing, and I don't think we're at that point yet. You got into Osu? Ha, one of those video games I don't see well enough to play. Yes. But when there's enough information, I would say that it's worth doing. I currently don't necessarily think there is. So I'll probably pester him sometime in about 6 weeks. I'll probably bug him and try and set up something for a few weeks after that. We'll see. I more or less told him, like, after the last interview, it's like, hey, could we try and do these quarterly? Because, you know, like, DF Talk happens on a relatively frequent basis, and my interviews are kind of like an extension of that in a way. But I would really like to have Zach on. I think that would be really interesting. I'd like to know what his workflow's been like with all this stuff. How's the alcohol count? Pretty good. Uh-oh. Somebody's lunch has gone bad. Actually, I need to check the garbage dump. Yep. That's why stuff's going bad. It's because there's a ton of bones that need to be checked out. It's a fair curiosity. I mean, also, there's this thing called when there's interest, right? So when there's interest in a thing or reason to do a thing, both of those things can make the thing happen. And people have started asking over the last 2 weeks when I'm going to have Tarn on again, which means there's interest, which means maybe it's time. Or time to start thinking about it anyway. Jehozel, one of my friends was like, for a while there, was in the top few hundred best Osu players in the world. He was one of the people I used to play League of Legends with. He was like the number 4 player in Canada or something. He used to go on about how bad he was at Osu. It's like, Jesus, you're incredible at this shit. What are you talking about? There's going to be a typing war in the chat now to see who can type the most stories in the shortest amount of time. I don't know if I understand what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know if he even still plays. His name on my Discord is Chrono Trig. I know him as Aaron, but... I don't know where he's at these days. I think he still goes by Chrono Trig on... I assume he goes by Chrono Trig on Osu still. That was his username for a while. So if you want to stalk him, you could look him up. Which means that Esteth is at least 131. Probably old enough to keel over and die. But yeah, no, it certainly seems like interest is building again for another interview with Tarn. Bonk. Masterwork has been lost. Bunch of masterworks have been lost. It's fine though. 2. Is what it is.